Good evening and welcome to the pregame show on a spring-like warm Friday night from FirstEnergy Stadium, America's Classic Ballpark, as we get closer to game number 4 of 6 of this week's series between the Reading Fightin Phils and the Erie SeaWolves. My name is Jake Starr. Appreciate you spending some time with myself and Bob McCool on this Friday night from the ballpark as the Fightin Phils look to bounce back after a tough doubleheader last night. Reading fell 7-2 in the first end of the doubleheader. Game 2 was closer. They were down 5-2 heading into the ninth inning. But Reading got 2 runs in the ninth to get it close. They had the winning run up to the plate, but for the Fightin Phils, they were unable to get over the hump and find a way to come out with a Game 2 victory. So entering play tonight, Reading trails in the series 2-1. They'll try and even things up before we head into the final 2 games of the weekend, Saturday and Sunday. And it should be a good pitching matchup tonight. Luke Russo making his 3rd Double-A start. Definitely looked much better in his 2nd start compared to his 1st last week in Portland. And it'll be Jaden Ham on the mound for the SeaWolves. Game number 47 of the season for the Fightin Phils. And it's coming up here in about 14 minutes time from FirstEnergy Stadium. But first, we'll take our first time out on tonight's pregame show. And when we come back, it's part 2 of our conversation with Fightin Phils manager Al Padrique. And that's coming up when the pregame show rolls on after this on the Our Phils Radio Network. Welcome back to the pregame show here on the Fightin Phillies Radio Network. Jake Starr about to be joined by my broadcast partner Bob McCool as we near closer to first pitch, game number 4 of 6 between Reading and Erie this weekend. Bob, Reading ends up dropping at both ends of the doubleheader yesterday, and look, it's an Erie offense. We knew they could hit. We knew what we saw Tuesday from them was uncharacteristic, so you can do as much as you want to stop them, but at the same time, I think the Phillies offense is going to look to try and match them tonight.
Yeah, that's exactly what they've got to do, is to try to match up with them. And to be honest with you, they had their moments throughout this series, even going back to game 1 when they won game 1, 1-0. They left a lot of men on base. They just have not gotten a lot of big hits and big opportunities. It looked like maybe that might happen in the bottom of the 7th last night, but they came up one hit short, and as a result of that, they end up coming out of it with the 5-4 loss.
Well, the Fightin Phillies playing tonight as Los Luchadores de Reading have taken the field, and it's time for the national anthem, which wraps up tonight's pregame show. We'll step aside for a moment, and we come back. It's lineups and first pitch for game number 4 between the Reading Fightin Phillies and the Erie SeaWolves after this on the Phillies Radio Network. Good evening and welcome inside FirstEnergy Stadium, America's Classic Ballpark, for game number 4 of 6 between the Reading Fightin Phillies and the Erie SeaWolves. My name is Jake Starr, joined alongside, as always, by Bob McCool. And with the Fightin Phillies on the field, it's time to take a look at tonight's Erie SeaWolves starting lineup. Trey Cruz leads off. Full play shortstop. Carlos Mendoza is second to third baseman. Max Anderson, the Eastern League leader in hitting. Matt's third place second. Tyron Lorenzo back in the lineup after a scratch yesterday. Cleans things up and is the catcher. Jay Colton, the DH, bats fifth. Justice Bigby is sixth in right field. Roberto Campos bats seventh, plays center field. Eduardo Valencia is eighth and plays first. And Chris Myers bats ninth and is the left fielder. Again, it's Cruz, Mendoza, Anderson, Lorenzo, Holton, Bigby, Campos, Valencia, and Myers. And on the mound tonight for the Fightin Phillies, it's the righty making his third Double-A start, Luke Russo.
Luke Russo, as Jake said, his third start since coming to Reading from Jersey Shore. With the Blue Claws, he was used solely as a reliever, made 7 appearances out of the bullpen for Jersey Shore, and now making his third start since joining the Fightin Phillies, 0-1 with a 5.0 earned run average in Reading with 9 innings pitched, 7 hits, 5 earned runs, 7 strikeouts, and 7 walks.
Take a look at the defensive alignment behind Luke Russo tonight. Seth Beer plays first base. Robert Moore at second. Aiden Miller plays short. Alex Pinellas is at third. Felix Reyes in right. Cade Fergus in center. Hendry Mendez is our left fielder. And Andrik Nava is the catcher for Luke Russo, as he will throw it down, and we're about to get ready to get things underway. 74 degrees, cloudy skies, our game time temperature presented by All Temp Enterprises. Three-man Eastern League umpiring crew. Tim Barreras is the home plate umpire. Chase Eubanks at first. Alex Shears is at third. So we're about ready to go on this Friday night from FirstEnergy Stadium. Good crowd on hand as Trey Cruz will dig on in from the left side. Luke Russo, the ready, is ready to go. Fires the first pitch home, and it misses a bit up at 6:47 p.m. And it's a 1-ball, no strike count early here to Trey Cruz. Russo from the first base side of the rubber winds and deals, and it's a check swing, and they will appeal, and no swing from Trey Cruz. 2 balls and no strikes. Russo went 5 innings last time out on Saturday at Portland last week. Next pitch home is swung on and hit straight back foul. It's 2-1. Did take the loss, but was much better from his Double-A debut a couple weeks ago. Allowed 3 hits, 2 runs, both earned. Did walk 3, also struck out 3. 68 pitches, 49 strikes for Russo. 2-1. Cruz takes it up and away. The lefty does. It's 3-1. Cruz 2 for 11 so far this week. Does have a home run and a couple of RBI. And the 3-1 home. And Russo misses it. Actually, no, he got it at the belt apparently, and it's 3 balls and 2 strikes.
Trey Cruz will call timeout. He was already about to put the bat on the ground and head to first base. The pitch to the top of the strike zone. Wasn't an egregious call. I mean, it was pretty close to being a strike.
So full count, no outs. Pitch to Cruz is on the outside corner, called strike 3. I don't think Cruz is going to be too happy on that walk back to the dugout, but you'll certainly take it if you're the Fightin Phils. Good job by Luke Russo working back into the count, and that'll bring Carlos Mendoza to the plate.
A note to self, Jake. Tim Barreras behind the plate. We had him for game 1.
It's going to be very delayed on the strike.
Give yourself a moment just to make sure, because it is a very big delay by the time he rings somebody up for a called third strike.
So Mendoza in from the left side. First pitch to him. He's swinging. Hits it in the air. Deep right field. Back goes Reyes, and it is going to be out of play, foul. Home run distance on that one, 373 feet. But it's just a long strike number 1 to Carlos Mendoza.
Props to the good folks from the Cocalico School District. Cocalico night here at the ballpark, and they have turned out en masse. There's the combined Adamstown, Denver, Stevens area must be pretty light tonight because there's a lot of people here at the ballpark.
0-1 is there for a called strike. It's 0-2. Even got branded shirts, too.
Yeah, they're all. That's how I know they're all from Cocalico, because they all have the same shirts on.
They're all wearing blue.
Yep. One of the really good football programs in the Lancaster 11 League. And when you see Nick Singleton on Sunday, you can remind him. I'm sure the good folks at Cocali remember him having a couple of fumbles and a loss to them when he was a 10th grader. I think he got it back. I'm just saying. As a 10th grader, different story.
0-2 is up at the letters, 1 and 2.
I think
were you broadcasting that game?
I did. Just, I think he's done okay for himself since, but I'm just, trying to remember some. Let him know there was a skeleton or 2 along the way.
1-2, bit outside, 2-2. Carlos Mendoza in from the left side. He's 3 for 11 so far this week. Does have a double and a home run. Played in both ends of the doubleheader last night. Next pitch, Mendoza swings, and he nubs it down the third base line, and it'll just roll foul. Mendoza was late to take off, and Pinellas late to react, so I think good thing for all parties that did roll foul.
Yeah, mostly for Pinellas and for the Phils, because there was no shot he was going to be able to get Mendoza even after the breakout, because he's playing Mendoza well off the line. Mendoza, the left-hand hitter, and so Pinellas is playing much closer to the shortstop spot than to the third base line, and the only hope he had was the hope that rolled foul. And I'll tell you something, it was up until about the last 3 feet, that thing was fair, and then fortunately it just kept rolling in the right direction for the Phils and ends up missing the bag.
So 2 balls, 2 strikes to count to Carlos Mendoza. 1 out, top of the first. Still a scoreless ball game. And the pitch from Russo. Swing and a miss, struck him out. Went to the changeup at 85 from Luke Russo. Couple of strikeouts to start this game for the righty. And 2 quick outs now for the Eastern League leader in hitting, Max Anderson.
Well, it's obviously a very good start for Luke Russo. They're trying to limit the damage that this lineup can do.
So Max Anderson will dig in from the right side. 341 hitter on the season. The first pitch is a line drive, and it's a fair ball down the right field line. It rolls all the way to the corner. Reyes gets there to fish it out. Anderson's heading towards second. Reyes throws his hands up, so Anderson will keep running as the ball got lodged under the netting. So Anderson scores. We talked about this last week. It's the right thing to do.
Oh, it's the right thing to do. You keep on running. I'm waiting for an umpire to go out and see that it's underneath the pads. I mean,
I think they were waiting for him to touch home. So now the umpire will go out. First base umpire Chase Eubanks. And he'll put the 2 up for it is a ground rule double.
No, it's absolutely the right thing for Max Anderson to do. We had it the other way around for the Phillies. I think it was Leandro Pinedo who hit one that got wedged underneath and just Al Padrique kept running and saying, come on, keep going, keep running around the bases and make sure it's going to be an official ground rule double. Like I said, I was trying to figure out why nobody was going out there to check, but ultimately Max Anderson. And I'll tell you what, we said this last night. That guy doesn't look, I mean, he hasn't passed a lot on the eye test, Max Anderson, but that dude can hit. He had 4 hits in last night's game. He's got 7 hits now in this series.
So Tyron Lorenzo is the batter now for Erie. 2 outs here in the first as Anderson leads off second. And the first pitch home is swung on a ground ball foul to the right side. So it was double number 15 of the season for Max Anderson. A couple behind Keaton Anthony, who's 17, ranks as the Eastern League leader.
Going back to game 1 of yesterday's doubleheader, that's 6 straight hits now for Max Anderson. He got a base hit his last time up in the 7th inning in game 1 yesterday. Went 4 for 4 yesterday, or in game 2, I should say, and now a base hit here. So 6 straight hits for Anderson.
0-1 to the catcher, Tyron Lorenzo. Russo, a long look home. He's set from the stretch and deals. And that's a line drive. It'll go through the whole right side, base hit. Around third is Anderson. Reyes up with a throw. Here's the throw home. It's going to be late and offline. So it's an RBI single for Tyron Lorenzo to score Anderson. And the SeaWolves strike first again. It's 1-0 Erie.
Well, that's how quickly an inning can change. Russo gets the first 2 batters out on strikeouts. And then Anderson changes the dynamic with that little squirter down the first base line. He just went with the pitch, got it off the end of the bat for the double down the right field line. And then Lorenzo follows it up with a single into right field as well. And that quickly, it goes from 2 outs and nobody on to a 1-0 SeaWolf lead.
So Jake Holton digs in from the right side. First pitch over for a strike. It's 0-1. That was the 16th pitch of this first inning for Luke Russo. Holton, a .248 hitter on this season. He's of 9 home runs. Driven in 23. Next pitch is a strike again. It's 0-2. So Russo already a couple of strikeouts in this first inning. We'll look to try and strike out the side here despite the couple of hits and runs scored.
And I think that's what makes this Erie team good is that I'm going through putting my notes together for the game. And I'm like, well, nobody's really had a great series other than Anderson with now 7 hits.
0-2. Swinging a foul ball, cued straight back. It'll stay 0-2.
But they've all taken their shots. Justice Bigby, who's on decks, had a big home run and RBIs in this series. Roberto Campos had the big bases clearing double last night. And I think that's what makes them good is that different guys at different moments have had the big hit when they needed it.
0-2 again. Hit upstairs. 1-2 to the righty, Jake Holton. Holton 0 for 5 so far this week. He has walked a couple of times after hitting .333 last week against Hartford. 1-2 to him. Swing and a miss. Struck him out on the curveball. So Luke Russo does strike out the side in the first inning. He's already matched the amount of strikeouts he had in 5 innings last week at Portland. So in the first frame, Erie does get a run on 2 hits. There was 1 man left on base. We will head to the home half of the first inning with Erie up 1 and Reading coming to bat. Bottom half of the first inning. Erie 1, Fightin Phillies up to bat, and here is how they line up tonight, presented by Golden Oaks Landscaping. Robert Moore leads off, plays second. Ada Miller, the shortstop, bats second. Hendry Mendez third and left field. Keaton Anthony bats fourth at the DH. Seth Beer is fifth, plays first. Felix Reyes, the right fielder, bats sixth. Alex Spinella seventh at third base. Cade Fergus bats eighth, plays center. And Andrik Nava bats ninth and is the catcher. On the mound tonight for the SeaWolves, it's the right-handed pitcher, Jaden Ham.
Ham is the number 7 prospect in the Tigers organization. He's just 22 years of age, but kind of finding his way through at Double-A so far. He's 1-2 with a 4.42 earned run average in 38 2/3 innings pitched. He's given up 35 hits and 19 earned runs, 42 strikeouts, which is obviously very good, and 13 walks.
First pitch to Robert Moore. He swings and he fouls it straight back. It's 0-1.
If you look at the outing by outing for Ham, he has not gone more than 5 innings in any of his starts so far.
0-1 is a breaking pitch to Robert Moore. It's quickly 0-2 to the switch hitter, who bats from the left side. We'll get you the defensive alignment for Erie coming up here in a couple of moments. As the 0-2. Moore swinging a line drive into right field, base hit. That'll be a leadoff single for Robert Moore. And Fightin Phillies had the leadoff man aboard. And as Ada Miller comes up, here is that Erie defense. Valencia plays first, Anderson at second, Cruz at short, Mendoza third, Bigby in right, Campos in center, Myers in left, and Tyron Lorenzo is the catcher for Jaden Ham, the pitcher.
That is a thing that the Phils need to get going, and that is somebody getting hot out of that leadoff spot.
And the first pitch to Ada Miller is up for a ball. It's 1-0.
Robert Moore, batting average-wise, has been on a free fall after a great start to the season. Trent Farquhar kind of the same, and now he's been moved now to Jersey Shore.
Pitch home, Miller, big cut and a miss. It's 1-1. Fastball at 91 from Ham. Erie comes out tonight in their yellow road jerseys. Read Erie across the front, gray pants. Very resemblant of the Pittsburgh Pirates color of yellow. It's actually like those 70s and 80s Pirates jerseys. 1-1. Miller takes a curveball inside. It's 2-1 to the righty.
Very over-the-top delivery for Jaden Ham. Fastball is going to get there somewhere in the 92 to 95 range. Also a curve, a slider, and a change. The fastball and the curve are his best pitches.
Pitch home. Miller takes it down low. 3-1. Miller hits in his last 2 games, sitting at 235 on the season. Sitting 266 over 22 games in May. 3-1. Miller swings and he pops it up foul to the right side. It's 3-2.
Well, he got a great pitch to hit at 3-1, but just didn't really get a good piece of the bat on it. Got it really more off the fists and fouled it out of play.
So full count, no outs to Aiden Miller. Ham comes set. Moore leads off first. And they'll check on him, and it stays 3-2. So full count here to Miller. Moore gets his lead. Pitch home. Miller swings, hits into the air towards shallow left center. In comes Myers, the left fielder. He'll make the catch, and that's out number 1. And that'll bring Hendry Mendez to the plate now for the Fightin Phillies. Reading tonight comes out in their Los Luchadores de Reading jerseys. Black to red ombre transition on the front. Yellow letters and numberings. Los Luchadores logo on the front. White pants. And the field, they wear the black cap with the yellow Luchadores logo on the front. And the first pitch home is out for a ball, 1-0. You know what I would love to see? I'd love to see these Erie yellow jerseys with Reading's hot dog jerseys. The yellow, red. I don't know if we can do that color scheme-wise, but it would be a cool sight. 1-0. Mendez swinging a line drive, falling in the right field for a base hit down the line. Moore turns second, heads to third. He'll get there standing up as the right fielder Bigby gets the throw in. And all of a sudden, it's middle of the corner is 1 out for Keaton Anthony.
And this is going to get back to what we talked about in the pregame show. This is where the Phils have had troubles really all season long, if you really want to be honest about it, but certainly in this series more so recently. That is getting this big hit. Man on base. It's very early in the ball game, obviously in the bottom of the first inning, but after Erie gets the lead in the first. Here comes your RBI leader in Keaton Anthony with runners at the corner and one out with an opportunity to get that run home, get this game right back to even and maybe more.
So man on the corner is one out. First pitch to Anthony is a breaking pitch, and it's over for a called strike. It's 0-1.
Because I didn't want to break the news to you, Jake, that the Phils were coming to the plate at the bottom of the first and they were down already. I know it's a bit shocking to your system, but it has been a recurring theme.
0-1. Anthony swinging a line drive straight back foul, and it's quickly 0-2.
There's also a great read off the bat for Robert Moore from the hit from Mendez. That ball was definitely going to be down in right field. Moore knew it off the bat. He was off to the races to make sure he was able to get the third and does so easily.
So 0-2 and an out to Keaton Anthony. Men on the corners. Pitch home. Anthony swings on a line drive down the right field line, but it'll slice out of play foul. Well, if you talk about trends, I'll give you another trend. Keaton Anthony hitting RBI doubles.
Yeah, that's absolutely the case because that's why we call him Mr. Doubles. He has just been so good.
And that's us who calls him that. I don't know if anyone else has coined that phrase.
That's all right. Sure somebody will beat us to the copyright.
True. 0-2 count. Ham is ready. And they'll check on Mendez, who's back in safely.
Also seeing Keaton Anthony now over the last two nights, including that foul ball, looking a little bit more down into right field and the right field line. Again, he's peppered the right center and sometimes left center field gaps.
0-2, swinging a ground ball, softly hit the short. Cruz Fields goes to second for one. Relay to first is offline, and that'll score a run. So Robert Moore scores. It's a 6-4 fielder's choice. And that ties the game up at one apiece.
Yeah, I don't know that there was early any kind of a collision between Mendez and Anderson. But I mentioned this last night about Anderson. He's a second baseman coming out of college. But the question is where are the Tigers going to find a spot for him defensively? Because he's not really built like a second baseman. He's not really a natural second baseman at the professional level. But that bat is going to carry him. And that should have been a double play, but Anderson, I'm not sure if he really rushed the throw or not. Again, I don't think there was really any collision between himself and Mendez. He just kind of airmailed it and pulled the first baseman off the bag.
1-0, Beer swings, pops it up towards center, not deep. Campo starts in and backtracks to his right and back a couple of steps, and the center fielder makes the catch. And that'll retire the side here in the first. But in the inning, Fightin Phils do get a run. They did it on 2 hits. There were no errors, and one man is left on base. We've played one full here from America's Classic Ballpark. We're to the second, all tied up at 1. International Fireworks, the official fireworks provider of the Phils, providing the fireworks shows for the 2025 season. Head to their store at 242 Sycamore Road in Douglasville or visit fireworksrus.com. So top half of the second inning, Erie and Reading tied up at 1 apiece. And it'll be 6-7-8 due up, just as Bigby, the first of the plate, to face Luke Russo, who did allow a run in that first inning, but also did strike out the side. So Bigby in, Russo's first pitch home, and the first pitch is up for a ball. It's 1-0. There's 3 strikeouts for Russo, but he did allow a double to Max Anderson and a single to Tyron Lorenzo. Pitch home, swinging a fly ball towards left. Over to his right and in goes Mendez, and the left fielder tracks it down for out number 1. That'll bring Roberto Campos to the plate.
Good read off the bat by Mendez on the sinking liner to his right. He's done a very good job of tracking balls as this season has gone on. He's gotten better and better tracking balls in both to his right and to his left.
So Campos in from the right side. First pitch home. Swing and a miss. It's 0-1. Campos, the center fielder in tonight's ball game. Open stance right side. 0-1 pitch. Swung on, ground ball. Miller deep in the hole. Backhands it. Sets his feet. Throws the first. It is not in time. Excellent effort by Miller. Good pick by Seth Beer. Roberto Campos beats it out, and that'll be an infield single. Beats out what would have been an excellent play by Aiden Miller.
Yeah, I mean, you can't argue with anything on that play. That's a good play by the shortstop. It's a good play by the first baseman. It's good hustle by the hitter. He knew he was trying to get himself a leg hit there on the nice play in the backhand by Aiden Miller. He did everything he could to try to take a base hit from him.
First pitch to Valencia is over for a called strike. It's 0-1. That's a good play. And
yeah.
It might not be, Miller may not have made that play a year ago.
Right.
So it just kind of shows the development of him at shortstop.
Correct. And again, that's the ongoing proof that he believes he can play shortstop at a higher level.
0-1 is bit down with a slider. It's 1-1.
And the Phillies have basically said, well, we're going to let him play himself out of the position. And if he doesn't, well, then he's going to keep playing shortstop. Al Padrique, who played shortstop in the big leagues, says he thinks he can play shortstop in the big leagues.
1-1. That's over for a called strike. 1-2. Another slider from Russo. We're seeing a lot more sliders tonight than I feel like his first couple of outings were more curveball heavy. So 1 ball, 2 strikes to count to Valencia. And out in the inning, man on first. 1-1 game. Pitch home is swung on a miss. Strike 3. Strikeout number 4 for Luke Russo. He's already matched his Reading high, which was 4, in his Double-A debut on the 18th against New Hampshire. And with 2 outs, that'll bring the 9-man hitter Chris Myers to the plate.
Well, some of that very well may have to do with just making the transition from being a reliever to the starter's role. If you're going to be if you're going to start at the professional level, you're going to have at least 3, and they really like you to have 4 pitches to work with. As a reliever, if you can kind of zone in on 2 pitches, you can survive on 2 pitches.
Myers swings and misses at the changeup. It's 0-1. We've seen fastball, changeup, slider. We've seen 1 or 2 curveballs tonight.
Right. So, again, you don't have to be able to throw all 4 pitches on a regular basis, but just be able to have 4 different pitches you can use is pretty much standard fare for a starter.
0-1, swinging a line drive by Robert Moore in the right center field base hit. Turning second, but stopping there is Campos. Reyes, the right fielder, got to it quickly in the gap. So it's a 2-out single for Chris Myers, and it's been on first and second. And that'll bring the leadoff man, Trey Cruz, to the plate.
Now, don't get me wrong. In today's game, a lot of those 4-pitch combinations might very well include a couple different fastballs. Could be a 2-seam and a 4-seam fastball. Could be a sinker of some kind.
Splitter, cutter.
Splitter, which is all versions of a fastball. But it's still a different look for a batter.
2 outs for Trey Cruz. Men on first and second here in the second for Erie. It's a 1-1 game. Russo trying to keep it at that. First pitch home. Cruz swinging a line drive. It falls into center field. Base hit. Around third goes Campos. Fergus has it. Up with the throw. He'll go to the cutoff man, Beer, in front of the pitcher's mound. So a run does score in Campos, and it's a 2-out RBI single for Trey Cruz. Chris Myers up to second, and Erie regrabs the lead. It's 2-1.
Yeah, but you can't, no matter what you're throwing, you can't just throw pitches down the middle of the plate, especially against a team like Erie that can hit. And that's exactly what Russo did. First pitch fastball, it was a sinker, but it was not sinking. It was up above his waist, and it just good piece of hitting by a veteran hitter in Trey Cruz. He just took it right back through the box, and right back on top goes Erie.
5 hits already through an inning and 2/3 for Erie. It's Carlos Mendoza to the plate from the left side. Infield back against him. First pitch home is swung on, and it's popped up. Towards center, not deep. Fergus, the center fielder, back a step over a couple to his right and makes the catch. And that'll retire the side here in the second. SeaWolves do get another run. They did it on 3 hits. They leave 2. We'll head into the home half of the second with Erie up 2-1. Bottom half of the second inning is brought to you by Cornwall Manor, an active senior living not-for-profit community in Encina, Cornwall, PA, outside of Lebanon. 2-1 Erie on top in this home half of the second. Crazy hot dog vendor is doing his thing. Bob McCool's leaning out the window with the net, which has not found a hot dog since the 2023 season. Now, part of that we could blame on a personnel issue. I think most of it, though, probably comes down to the higher nets behind home plate, but we're not going to tell the hot dog vendor that one. So 2-1 Erie on top. Felix Reyes leads off. It's 6-7-8 to up for Reading here in the frame as Jaden Ham is back out for his second inning of work. Did allow a run on a couple of hits in the first. So see if Reading can find a way to respond after a run in the home half of the first to match Erie. First pitch, Reyes will take a curveball outside. It's 1-0. Reyes played in the first game of yesterday's doubleheader. Matched a season high in 3 hits. Next pitch, swing and a miss. It's 1-1. Also doubled. Made his season debut April the 17th. He's hitting .329, 4 home runs, 12 RBI. 1-1. Reyes swings and he pops it up. Mile high in the infield. All 4 infielders converge. Out of the way goes Ham, and it's the first baseman, Valencia, who makes the catch standing on top of the pitcher's mound for out number 1. So retired is Felix Reyes, and that'll bring Alex Pinellas to the plate here for the Fightin' Phils. So Pinellas, one of the newest Fightin' Phils, digs in from the left side. First pitch to him is a breaking pitch for a called strike. It's 0-1. Pinellas is 3 for 6 on the early going with Reading. He's played in a couple of games, Tuesday and then game 2 last night. Pitch home. Pinellas takes again for a called strike, 0-2. Just celebrated his 25th birthday on Monday. Day before his Phillies organizational debut. 0-2, misses a fastball upstairs. It's 1-2. And the pitch home. Pinellas takes it at the knees. Called strike 3. Pinellas not happy with the call, and I think to add insult to injury, took Tim Barreras a good 3-4 seconds to actually make that call. So that's out number 2, and that brings Kate Fergus to the plate. I always say, are they verbalizing it before they make the call? Now he's looking over at the Phils dugout, so I gotta think there's some barking coming out of there. Yeah. But I'm under the impression, I don't think he's saying anything for a good couple of seconds.
Yeah, because everybody just freezes for a moment.
First pitch to Fergus. He was swinging for the fences, and he whiffs on it. It's 0-1.
A lot of guys, a lot of umpires over the course of baseball history who have those fanatic calls behind the plate or emphatic calls behind the plate will generally make the call silently, if you want to call it that way, at the plate.
0-1 is a strike 0-2. It'll be like strike 3.
Right.
And then they'll
so the
rip
batter,
the paper
the
or
batter
pump.
and the catcher know, but now the fans now know because he just gave that emphatic signal.
But you even saw Pinellas was kind of standing there for a second waiting for the call.
Right, which makes you think that maybe he does not do that.
0-2, Fergus takes it outside, a ball and 2 strikes.
But I do have to tell you that in the game of baseball today, and a game just in sports in general, where athletes have a very big thing about being shown up in any way. That cannot go over well with a hitter. Right.
And the next pitch is the ball, 2-2.
Especially if you don't agree with the call. I mean, it's one thing if it's a pitch right down the middle and you just didn't pull the trigger on it. It's another thing if it's a pitch that you didn't think was a strike, and then he rings you up like that.
2-2. Fergus swinging a fly ball high in the infield. Third base side. In comes the third baseman Mendoza, right on that foul line, and he dropped it in fair territory.
Yeah, he's standing in fair territory.
So that'll be an E5 on Mendoza.
Erie's trying to.
Fergus stays on second.
Right.
There's no argument. That was a fair ball.
Jaden Ham's pointing at him, saying he's saying foul ball, but he's standing in fair territory, and the ball hit his glove. So it's kind of hard to argue that point when you're standing in fair territory.
Just saw the replay on our MILB TV feed.
Yeah,
great work by that crew as always.
There's no question about the fact that that's a fair ball, and even Mendoza knew it because he just hung his head.
So, fourth error this season on Mendoza. Andrik Nava, the batter now. 2 outs, man on second. Pitch home to Nava, swings and he pops it up. Shallow right center. Out goes Cruz, the shortstop. He will make the catch. Man, does he have range. And that will retire the side here in the second. No runs, no hits, 1 man left. There was an error as well for Erie. We're ahead of the third with the score, SeaWolves 2, Fightin Phillies 1. Top of the third inning, we want to thank our good friends at Pepsi for presenting the 2025 season here in Baseball Town. Go Fightin Phils and drink more Pepsi. So 2-1 Erie on top in this top half of the third inning. As Luke Russo completes his warm-up tosses, and it'll be 3-4-5 of the SeaWolves lineup. The ever so dangerous Max Anderson, who now has hits in his last 6 at-bats after a double and a run scored back in the first. We'll dig in from the right side. So Anderson in even stance right side. Does crowd over the plate a bit. And the first pitch from Russo. Anderson swinging a ground ball third, but Ellis fields it, backing up on it. Sets, fires across, and not in time. Also pulled Seth Beer off the bag. So we'll see if they give that a hit or a throwing error on Alex Pinellas. A lot riding on that. It is 7 straight times on base now for
It's an error.
Anderson.
They have it up as
That's
Erie's
Erie.
My bad.
And
Yeah.
it is going to be an error. So it's an E5, first one on Pinellas since joining the Fightin Phils. That'll bring Tyron Lorenzo to the plate now for the SeaWolves. And the first pitch to him is bit outside for a ball. It's 1-0.
I think that's the right call. I mean, it was an in-between hop, so Pinellas had to back up a step, so it takes a little bit off the throw. But with a good throw, Anderson's out at first base.
1-0 is swung on and fouled straight down. It's 1-1.
And so that kind of goes into the factor of the decision as to whether or not it's a hit or an error, because if he makes a good throw, he's out at first base, and the throw pulled Beer off the bag, so therefore it's got to be E5.
Bonus strike, no outs, top of the third. 2-1 our scores. Anderson leads off first. Russo set at the belt and deals home. As a curveball in for a strike 1-2. I want to go back to that Cade Fergus pop-up real quick because you got to give Fergus credit for running that out, because a lot of guys might be frustrated, start sulking, think it's going to go foul and really not run it out down the line. And it might drop, and they might only be standing on first base. Fergus was standing on second. The 1-2 is swung on by Lorenzo and popped up towards shallow left center. Miller, the shortstop's out and makes the catch for out number 1. And that'll bring Jake Holton to the plate.
Well, we had quite a few infield pop-ups last night, but we're off to a record-setting pace in this one. Lots of guys popping balls up in the infield on both sides, and tonight's have been sky-high pop-ups. Last night was a lot of foul outs to both first basemen last night. They were just kind of literally a pop-up. These have been high fly balls into shallow infielders.
First pitch to Holton, swings and misses. It's 0-1. That was pitch number 38 tonight from Luke Russo. So pitch count-wise, he's been pretty efficient so far. I'm sure the hope is still to get him through 5 innings tonight. Deep breath from the righty, who's set from the belt, fires home. That one just misses a bit inside. It's 1-1. Holton 0 for 1 in tonight's ball game. He struck out swinging in the top half of the first inning. One of 4 strikeouts tonight for Luke Russo. Has yet to issue any walks. And the 1-1 is on the outside corner for a called strike, 1-2. What I don't get either is the home plate umpire, Tim Barreras. He's quick on strike 1 and strike 2.
Right.
Just strike 3, which takes quite a while. Russo set again. Anderson leads off first. Pitch home. Swinging a ground ball third. It's foul. Down the left field line towards the corner. So we'll do it again in a ball and 2 strikes to Jake Holton. Nine days ago, Holton, the best game he had this season. 2 home runs, including a grand slam. Drove in 6 runs in an 18-3 Erie win over Hartford. It's actually a second 2 home run game of the season. Also did it on April the 29th against Binghamton. Holton will step out and get time. 27-year-old. Drafted by the Tigers in 2019. 1-2 is swung on a miss. Struck him out with a curveball. First strikeout tonight for Luke Russo. And that'll bring Justice Bigby to the plate for the SeaWolves.
Well, can't argue with what Russo's done in terms of strikeouts, and he hasn't walked a batter to this point in time. But again, you can't miss pitches down the middle with this Erie team. They are too good of a hitting team. And again, he should be out of this inning.
And the pitch to Bigby is outside. It gets away from the catcher, Nava. Couldn't find it for a second. It rolls to the backstop. So Anderson heads to second. We'll see if they give that a wild pitch or a pass ball.
I think it's got to be a wild pitch because it was away, but Nava did not play it well at all. He didn't shift his body over. He just went with the mitt, and I think he thought that ball was in the mitt. And then he realized, no, it's not, and Anderson was able to move up to second base without a problem.
So 1 ball, no strikes to count now to Bigby. It is a wild pitch on Luke Russo. Long look in from the righty pitcher. Deals home. That's a curveball over for a called strike. It's 1-1. Seeing more curveballs for sure second time through.
Right. So you got to mix it up a little bit. That's getting back to the point we were talking about before with having more pitchers, more pitches as a starting pitcher. And that's one of the reasons why. Because after guys start to see you a second and third time, you have to give them a different look.
1-1. Swinging a ground ball, high chopper short. Miller's got to wait back on it. Fields it from the grass. Throws to first in plenty of time. And that will retire the side here in the third. Good inning for Luke Russo. No runs, no hits. There was an error. That man is left on base. We've played 2.5 onto the home half of the third with the Fightin Phillies down to Erie 2-1. This inning is brought to you by Swartz Culleton PC. You can expect reliable and experienced attorneys who are committed to getting you justice after a serious personal injury. Call Swartz Culleton today at 1-800-JUSTICE. Along with Bob McCool, I'm Jake Starr as we move on to the bottom half of the third inning, with the Erie SeaWolves on top of the Fightin Phillies 2-1. Jaden Ham's back out for inning number 3 of work. 30 pitches through 2 frames for the ready arm Ham. And I'll have the top of the Reading lineup to start this third inning. Robert Moore, switch hitter, digs in from the left side against the righty Ham. Moore did single and score Reading's lone run, his only time up tonight in the first inning. Ham from the windup deals home. Moore will take a breaking pitch, a bit up for a ball. It's 1-0. Ham toes the third base side of the rubber here against the lefty Moore. And the 1-0. Moore swings and knuckles it foul, out of play to the left side. It's 1-1. And the pitch home. Moore takes it outside. 2 balls, 1 strike. Ham, all things considered, working pretty quickly. Last pitch on Saturday against Hartford. 2 runs, 3 hits, 5 innings. Next pitch is a bit down. 3 balls, 1 strike to Robert Moore. Walked a couple, struck out 5. And the 3-1. Moore takes it outside, ball 4. So Moore aboard for the second time tonight. First walk issued by Jaden Ham, and that'll bring Aiden Miller to the plate for the Fightin Phillies.
A good strikeout to walk ratio for Ham coming into today's game. 42 strikeouts to 13 walks in 38 2/3 innings. And again, Robert Moore getting on base for a second straight game. That's a great sign to see from him. To get this middle of the lineup that has produced, have somebody on board to get the inning going.
First pitch to Miller, big swing and a miss. It's 0-1. Ham was a 5th-round pick of the Tigers in 2023 out of Middle Tennessee State. Played there from 2021 to 23. And the 0-1 is down. Got away from the catcher for a moment, Lorenzo, but not far enough away for Moore to advance. Aiden Miller already a quite popular player, but might be the most popular player in the ballpark tomorrow night. Not that he already isn't most nights, but huge contingent coming tomorrow from WIP's High Hopes podcast. 1-1 is inside, almost hit Miller. 2-1. That would have solicited a lot of boos from that group tomorrow night.
I don't know how that didn't hit him. I thought that was going to get him, if not the arm, and then the ribs.
Well, good thing it didn't.
Somehow or another, he avoided it.
Over 100 Aiden Miller super fans coming tomorrow, led by Jack Fritz and James Seltzer from WIP. 2-1 is cranked deep to left field. It is way out of here. Aiden Miller annihilates one. 413 feet, and the Fightin Phillies are on top. It's 3-2 on Miller's 5th of the season. Wow.
That cleared the scoreboard behind the deck in left field. That was crushed. Chris Myers was as much a spectator as the 5,000 or so here in the ballpark. We'll get the attendance later on, but that was a majestic home run for Aiden Miller. But that is the power that Aiden Miller has made the Philadelphia Phillies organization salivate for since the day he was drafted.
First pitch to Mendez, the ball, it's 1-0. Oh my, like that was crushed. 5th home run of the season for Miller, 12th RBI. Next pitch to Mendez is a strike, 1-1. Now if he does that tomorrow night, that group led by James Seltzer, Jack Fritz, both obviously popular personalities, WIP, they might go crazy. Mendez swings the 1-1, softly hit ground ball second, charging Anderson, fires the first in time for out number 1.
What it's worth, that is the 8th home run that Ham has surrendered now in this his 10th start.
So Keenan Anthony digs in. So 3-2 Reading on top, bottom 3, 1 out. Nobody aboard as Anthony is up from the right side. Here's the pitch, and that is swung on and fouled back. It's 0-1.
But there was also an awful lot of talk over the course of the last couple of days after Bryce Harper got hit the other night by Steven Strider for the Atlanta Braves. And a lot of people talking about, oh, you got to hit them back. And look, first of all,
Next pitch, a strike 0-2.
it just doesn't happen in baseball anymore. It's just not part of the game. He didn't mean to hit him. He didn't want to hit him. It just hit him. But that's, I mean.
0-2, and Anthony swinging a ground ball through the middle, base hit. Went fishing for an off-speed pitch towards his feet, and he finds a way to sneak it through. So it's a one-out single for Keaton Anthony, and that'll bring Seth Beer to the plate.
Yeah, that's pretty much the definition of kind of just throwing the bat at the ball for Keaton Anthony, but he threw it in the right spot and got it right back up the middle. But just to finish that thought with the Harper situation, a pitch before, Aiden Miller got spun off on a high inside fastball. You want to know how you retaliate? That is how you retaliate. You hit the next one 400 feet.
First pitch to Seth Beer is a ball 1-0. Back to what I was saying before Miller hit the home run. Tomorrow night in the 5th inning, we will be joined by WIP's Jack Fritz and James Seltzer here on the radio, so should be a fun time. 1-0 is outside, 2-0. Now, if Miller does that when they're on the radio tomorrow night, hopefully everything that is said is able to be said over the air. 2-0 is outside, 3-0. And, I mean, Ham's also lost the strike zone a little bit here, too, and I think he walks more. Miller hits the home run. Anthony has the single, and now he's down 3-0 to Seth Beer. The pitch. Beer taking all the way. That's on the outside corner to the lefty. It's 3-1. Beer 0 for 1 in tonight's game. He flew out to center his first time up. And the pitch, he swings in a line drive right towards the middle. Shortstop Cruz had it played perfectly behind the bag. He had no play at second, so goes the long way to first, and that is out number 2. Anthony does advance up to second base in the play, and that'll bring Felix Reyes to the plate.
Yeah, talk about being played perfectly. Again, they outlawed the shift in baseball, but the second baseman and shortstop can cheat over as far as they can get towards the bag, and with a half of a step, Trey Cruz is basically clogging up the middle, and Beer hit it well.
First pitch to Reyes, swing and a miss, it's 0-1.
But the problem was for Trey Cruz, he had nobody to flip it to because Anderson, the second baseman, playing the left hand, hitting Beer to pull, was nowhere near to be able to be there for the flip to second base.
0-1 is down, 1 ball, 1 strike. Also, some good company in the house tonight that watched Aiden Miller hit that home run. Luke Merton, the Phillies' new director of player development, is in town this week. Had a chance to catch up with Luke earlier, assuming the role that Preston Mattingly held the last few years. 1-1, swing and a miss, 1-2. We will have our full interview with Luke Merton coming up next week on the road in Harrisburg. That'll air on Wednesday and Thursday night next week. Tomorrow night we'll have part 1 of the interview with Alex Benelis. Part 2 will air on Tuesday. And we'll have Luke Merton on Wednesday and Thursday next week. 1-2, 2 outs to Felix Reyes. Pitch home. He swings and he taps it past the pitcher. And charging his Cruz at short field. Throws to first. It won't be in time. So that'll be an infield single for Felix Reyes. Keaton Anthony up to third. And that puts men on the corners. 2 outs for Alex Benelis.
Well, there's a seeing eye base hit the way Keaton Anthony did it, where he just kind of threw his bat at it and scored its way up the middle. And then there's what Felix Reyes did. When you're big and you're strong, and the infielders are going to try to play back on you, and you just kind of beat one on the ground. And it took a big hop. And once Jaden Ham, the pitcher, could get to it, it was going to be a really tough play for Cruz because he had to really charge it. Give Felix Reyes a lot of credit because he busted out of the box. Now, in terms of running up the first baseline, he was probably closer to the pitcher's mound than he was to the actual first baseline. But Felix Reyes running up the grass, got there, and his hustle got him to first base. Now, Dan Rickabaugh, the pitching coach for the SeaWolves, is going to come out and have a conversation with Jaden Ham. Phil's had a big chance here to really get themselves some separation, which they have not had at all in this series from the SeaWolves.
Yeah, bottom of the third. It's 3-2 Reading on top. They have been on the corners, 2 outs. This inning started with a Robert Moore walk. Aiden Miller then hit a moonshot of a home run, 413 feet. After Hendry Mendez ground out, Keaton Anthony got a single. Seth Beer grounded out. Felix Reyes an infield single. So that's where we stand. There is action now in the Erie bullpen as well. A righty has got up and throwing. 54 pitches total for Ham, but it's been 24 here in the inning. You got Pinellas at the plate. He's 0 for 1 tonight with a strikeout, but he's had a good start to the week for Reading. 3 for 7 overall since signing. And the first pitch, he swings, ground ball, one hopper right to the first baseman Valencia. Fields it, touches the bag, and that will retire the side. Well, here in the third, Reading gets 2 runs. They did it on 3 hits, including the Aiden Miller home run. There were no errors, and 2 men are ultimately left on base. What are the 4? Fightin Phillies on top of Erie. It's 3-2. Back top of the 4th inning, Fightin Phillies now on top. It's 3-2, and to take over on the play-by-play, it's my broadcast partner, Bob McCool.
All right, thank you very much, Jake. Roberto Campos will lead it off for the SeaWolves, to be followed by Eduardo Valencia and then Chris Myers. That's 7, 8, and 9 due up with the Fightin Phillies now on top. 2 runs, 5 hits, and an error for the SeaWolves. 3 runs on 5 hits and an error for the Fightin Phillies. Every Tuesday, all active military and veterans receive $3 off box seats thanks to Burke's Oral Surgery and Dental Implant Center. And the first pitch from Russo to Campos is hit foul down the third baseline. Campos with a base hit and scored a run his last time up. He's now 3 for 10 in this series. Had the big hit in last night's game. Came on as a replacement. We did find out from the SeaWolves that Ben Malgeri, who started the game last night, kind of tweaked the hamstring a little bit going after the double that bounced off the wall from Alex Pinellas, and in the process kind of tightened up on the hamstring. So that's why he came out. Campos came in and ended up getting 2 hits on the night, including the 3-run double that turned out to be the game-winning RBIs in the 5-4 win for the SeaWolves last night. Campos now with a base hit, so he's got 3 hits in a row, and a pitch spins him off the plate to make it 1-1. And another one up and in from Russo. It's 2-1 to Campos. And another one up and in. So 3 straight for Campos up and in. So he takes a walk back from the batter's box a little bit to go like, hey, I'm not real comfortable up here. It's 3 balls and a strike to him. Campos, a .273 hitter on the season. Takes another one up, and this one's ball 4. So Russo walks his first of the night. And it's a leadoff base runner after the Phils had just taken a lead in the bottom of the 3rd. Russo coming into tonight's game with 9 innings pitched in his 2 starts, 7 strikeouts and 7 walks. Now the strikeouts have been great tonight with 5. That's his first walk. And it brings up Eduardo Valencia, who was one of the strikeout victims the last time up. And again, a pitch way inside from Russo, who all of a sudden here in this top half of the 4th inning seemed to have lost the strike zone. No action yet in the Phil's bullpen. And there's a big swing and no contact from Valencia on the slider from Russo. It's 1-1. Valencia, a .290 hitter on the season. He's got 8 extra base hits. 6 of them are home runs. 22 RBIs to go along with it. Swing and a miss. Another good slider from Russo, and Valencia chases it and swings over the top of it. Valencia, one of 3 catchers on the SeaWolves roster, but he's playing at first base tonight. Fightin Phil's also carrying 3 catchers right now, with Josh Bro, Paul McIntosh, and tonight's starter, Andric Nava. 1-2. Josh misses on the outside corner. It's 2-2. Campos, 21 years of age. He's the number 20 prospect in the Tigers organization. Signed from Cuba, an international free agent in 2019 by the Tigers. 2-2 to it. Fist this one foul towards the SeaWolf dugout. Andrew Graham, the manager for the SeaWolves, coaching in the third base coaching box. Tim Garland coaching in the first base box for the SeaWolves. Campos, the runner at first base. He walked, nobody out, top half of the 4th inning, and a 3-2 Fightin Phil's lead. Josh misses up and in. Valencia kind of leaned into that and then tried to jump back out of the way of it. Probably was not as far inside as he thought. It just missed off the inside corner. And it's 3 balls and 2 strikes now. Runner takes off, backed up the middle for a base hit. Campos, because he got off on the pitch, is going to make it to third base. Now Fergus juggles it a little bit. Campos is going to score, and Valencia will move up, and that quickly the game is tied. Cade Fergus just simply bobbled it. He was not going to have any shot to get Valencia at third base. That wasn't going to be the problem. But just in the process of picking it up, he bobbled it. That allowed Valencia to move up to second base, and ultimately allows Campos to come all the way around and score. So it'll be a base hit. It will not be an RBI for Valencia. The base hit gets him to third. The error allows Campos to score. So the error on Cade Fergus will be the second error of the night for the Phils, and we're tied at 3. And the first pitch to Chris Myers is on the inside corner for a called strike. Myers singled his first time up. So 3 errors now combined in this game, 2 for the Fightins and 1 for the SeaWolves. And Myers rips this one into right field. Reyes going back, and he'll make the catch on the line drive right to him. Valencia will tag up, and he'll move to third base now with 1 out. Myers hit it hard, but he hit it right at Felix Reyes in right field for out number 1. And again, with that, Valencia tags up and moves to third base for the top of the order, and Trey Cruz. Cruz with an RBI single as last time up, struck out to start the ball game. Infield up, trying to cut off a run, and that's going to be a balk.
And Al Padrique is going to come out and ask why.
He didn't throw the ball. He went through the delivery, and now here comes the first base umpire.
Yeah, he's
Chase Eubanks. I think time had to have been called.
Yeah.
Because Russo went through his delivery, but he didn't deliver the base, but he didn't throw the pitch. And so that's why the balk was called. So they're going to put it back on third.
Okay.
Time was clearly called, because why would Luke Russo go through with a pitch and not deliver the ball? So he obviously heard somebody call time, and that's why he didn't deliver the baseball. So nobody really did anything wrong. Tim Barrera saw him not throw the pitch, so he called the balk. He obviously didn't hear the time called as well. In the meantime, the next pitch to Cruz is fouled out of play. So it's no balls and a strike to Trey Cruz. So Valencia is now back at third base. 1 out in the inning. A run across in a tie ball game. Again, infield up for the Fightin Phils. And Cruz takes that one for a ball. And fouls this one straight back. It's 1-2. It's a big spot here for Russo. Obviously, a strikeout would be huge. Cruz just trying to put the bat on the ball, trying to get it over the drawn-in infield to put the SeaWolves back up on top. Now time's called at the plate by Cruz. Make sure everybody heard that one. And the ball gets away from Nava, goes all the way to the backstop, and that quickly, the SeaWolves are back up on top as Valencia will trot home with the go-ahead run.
Well, it didn't take much longer for him to score. To see a bounce-breaking pitch, Nava unable to get in front of it, kind of just tried to go with the backhand on, and it just goes right by him. So it's in a back-and-forth game, and the pendulum right now favoring Erie.
So 2 balls and 2 strikes to count now to Cruz. And this one lined up back up the middle, but Miller's there, backhands it, and he'll make the throw across the first. Wasn't sure whether or not Aiden Miller caught that in the air or not, and I think he may have, and I think just to be sure he made the throw to first base. Doesn't matter, Cruz is retired.
Yeah, it looks like it hit the ground looking at the replay.
So it is 6-3 in the books, it's 2 outs. And back to the wild pitch. It'll be a wild pitch that allows the run to score. That was not a good effort by Andric Nava. Made no he just basically tried to back. With a runner at third base, you got to sell out for it. He did not. And the first pitch to Carlos Mendoza is over for a called strike. I mean, that's your role as the catcher. You got to put every piece of body in front of it to protect the ball from getting away from you. And he just kind of backhanded it with his glove. Gets away from him, and now as a result of that, Erie's up on top 4-3. As Russo misses up high, it's now 1-1 to Carlos Mendoza, who's 0 for 2 on the night.
Russo at 67 pitches. You also wonder if this might be his last inning. He threw 68 last week, 77 2 weeks ago.
There's a ground ball to Miller, throw to first, pulls Beer off the bag, but Beer thinks he tugged him. I think Al Padrique thought he tugged him as well, and he's going to come out and argue.
He kind of asked the home plate umpire.
Yeah, this is a pet peeve of Al Padrique. He wants the umpires to discuss it, to see whether or not these other umpires saw it. He went to the home plate umpire Barreras first.
Because he probably has the best angle.
But Barreras can't do that until that's kind of the code of ethics, if you will. The other umpires have to ask him, did you see it? So now they have a conference, and now we'll see if, in fact, Tim Barreras saw it differently.
And he's out.
And he did.
I'm sure Andrew Graham is going to have words to say.
I guarantee you that's what Al Padrique did. He went to the home plate umpire. Tim Barreras said, can't do anything until he asked me. So Al Padrique then went to the first base umpire, Chase Eubanks. He asked him. They said he's out. That ends the inning. Pretty weird inning for 2 runs for Erie.
It's been a weird game.
They did it on just 1 hit. And ultimately, nobody left on base. We head to the bottom of the 4th. It's 4-3. SeaWolves on top. Klein Transportation is proud to be the official transportation provider of the Reading Fightin Phils. Klein Transportation gets the R Phils to all of their road trips throughout the 2025 season. For more information, go to KleinTransportation.com. Phils will make the long road trip to Harrisburg beginning on Tuesday for their next series after we finish up this series here at America's Classic Ballpark on Sunday night. Couple good promotions over the course of Saturday and Sunday. Of course, tomorrow is Saturday, which means it's high time we have a Mega Blast fireworks.
First one.
And so it'll no doubt be the largest one in history. And so we'll have that tomorrow night as Cade Fergus takes the first pitch from Jaden Ham on the outside corner for a called strike one. Fergus safe on an error his first time up, and he lines this one in left field. That's going to fall for a base hit. Over to cut it off is Chris Myers. Fergus with good wheels will take a big turn at first, put on the brakes, and he is a leadoff base runner for the Phils here in the fourth.
Yeah, some good swings the last couple of nights for Cade Fergus. Had the home run in game one yesterday. Good single there. And I think the big thing with Fergus just trying to keep that swing short, trying to keep it quick to the baseball. It's when he kind of gets too big is when he gets himself into trouble. So he's at his best when the swing is quick and short.
That'll bring Andrik Nava to the plate. Nava, one of many pop-ups in the infield in this game for both sides. He hit one to shallow center field that was ultimately caught by the shortstop Trey Cruz. First pitch to Nava, he swings and misses. Fergus, obviously with very good wheels, a threat to run. Good size lead off of first, and the pitch to Nava's outside for a ball. Nava, the switch hitter, with Robert Moore in the on-deck circle, also a switch hitter, really allows Al Padrique to stagger his lineup tonight, going lefty-righty all the way through. 1 ball and 1 strike to Nava. Fergus, the pickoff attempt, dives back in.
Now Fergus is a threat to run. He's stolen 5 bags this year in 6 attempts. See if maybe they think about putting him in motion here with the 9-man Nava up. There are still no outs, so maybe not.
No going here as Nava fouls this one down the third base line and slicing out of play. So it's 1 ball and 2 strikes now to Andrik Nava.
Nava last week at Portland had his best game of the season. Season high in hits, 3 RBI and 2. 8 days ago, morning game last Thursday at Delta Dental Park.
Pitch over for a called strike 3. Nava goes down looking. Out number 1 here in the fourth.
Just the second strikeout for Jaden Ham in tonight's game. They got top of the lineup up, and they've hit Ham pretty well, and now you're looking third time through on the righty. Let's see if they can get some more damage.
Robert Moore singled and scored in the first, walked and scored in the third. Yeah, Fergus goes here now with 1 out, not so far. And the first pitch to Robert Moore is over for a called strike 1 on the inside corner. Infield plays Moore at batting from the left-hand side to pull. Outfield pretty much straight away, but slightly to pull. And Moore beats this one on the ground towards Anderson. Slow roll to the second baseman. Only 1 play to first, and he'll get more. It allows Fergus to move up to second base now with 2 outs.
Yeah, Fergus was too quick. Ball wasn't hit that hard. Anderson only had 1 play, and it was the first base. So it's basically as good as a bunt. You're not going to get credit for a sacrifice, though, if you're Moore. And Miller's had himself a good night on both ends of the ball. Obviously, home run would be nice, but a single does the job, too.
Aiden Miller with his 2-run home run the last time up. 1 for 2 in the night, flew out the left field his first time up. And the first pitch to him here is a curveball that is a called strike.
Miller's last home run, 413 feet, 114 miles per hour exit velocity.
This one is inside, brushes him off the plate. That's kind of with a pattern of what happened last time. Brushed him off the plate. Somehow Miller was able to avoid getting hit by the pitch and then hit the next pitch. And when I say hit it, he hit it 400 plus feet, as Jake just said, for his 5th home run of the year. This one, big cut again here, but he fouls it at the plate. That one got a piece of the catcher, Tyron Lorenzo.
I believe 239's highest average Miller's had this year.
Yeah, he was down, obviously, well in the 100s for quite a while. It's been up over the 200 now for the last couple of weeks. But now up to 239 with his 1 for 2 tonight. He's now 4 for 12 in the series. He's been getting on base consistently over the course of the last several weeks. 1 ball and 2 strikes to him. That's up high. It's 2-2.
Yeah, I mean, dating back to mid-April, he's gotten on base pretty much every game except for a handful. And that's the thing. Even when you're not hitting, if you're still finding ways to be productive and get on base, that's what you're looking for.
Tying run at second base, 2 out. And the pitch is low. It's 3-2. That's the terminology I use with Al Padrique, that his bats just seem to be longer. And the skipper agreed, and this is the perfect example. This is a elongated at bat. He's now seen 5 different pitches, about to see the 6th. And he beats it down the third base line. Tough play for Mendoza. The backhand, the high throw is not in time. And Aiden Miller is safe at first. Fergus had to stay put at second base on the ground ball to third.
Yeah, Fergus had to stay put there. That's the right decision. And, yeah, it's a tough play. Mendoza, I don't know if he ever had a good grip on it, but he kind of double clutched a little bit. Miller, who's got speed, 16 stolen bases, was booking it up the line, and he beats that one out. So a couple of hits tonight now for Aiden Miller.
7th hit now of the night for the Fightin Phils, and here comes Hendry Mendoza. Mendoza's got one of those hits. He singled back in the first inning. 1 for 2 on the night. So 2 on and 2 out now. And the first pitch to Mendez is down low for a ball. Great wheels on the base pass right now. Fergus at second and Miller at first. Phil's down a run, bottom half of the 4th. 1-0 pitch there for a called strike 1. Mendez second on the Fightin Phils in RBIs, now 2 behind Keaton Anthony, who had an RBI earlier in the game and has a team high 24. Mendez with 22. And change that here. 1 ball and 1 strike to him. That's way up high. It's 2-1.
Yeah, if there's less than 2 outs, I'm thinking about a double steal here, but I think with 2 outs, just keep the guys put and let one of your best hitters go to work here.
2 balls and 1 strike to Hendry Mendez. Hit on a hop to Max Anderson. The second baseman will make the play to first, and that will do it for the Phils here in the 4th as they have a couple men on base, but they can't get it home for the Phils in the 4th. No runs, 2 hits. There was no errors, and 2 men left on base. We are through 4. It's 4-3, Erie on top. Top half of the 5th inning. The Erie SeaWolves on top of the Fightin Phils by a score of 4-3. And for the SeaWolves here in the 5th, it'll be Max Anderson, Tyron Lorenzo, and Jake Holton. That's 3, 4, and 5 in their lineup. Philadelphia Phillies getting beat up right now by the Milwaukee Brewers at Citizens Bank Park. 5-1 Brewers batting in the top half of the 5th inning. Taijuan Walker getting the start tonight for the Philadelphia Phillies. Max Anderson on base twice in this game. First pitch to him spins him off the plate. Doubled and scored in the first. Safe on an error his last time up. He's been on base 7 straight times now. 1-0 pitch is lifted down the first base line. Seth Beer will give it chase, and he'll run out of room as it ends up in the first base grandstands. It's 1 ball and 1 strike to Max Anderson. Anderson is 23 years of age, turned 23 in February. A great career at the University of Nebraska. 1-1 pitch to him. Just outside, it's 2-1. He hit .414 for Nebraska in his final season with an OPS of 1.224. Drafted by the Tigers in 2023 in the 2nd round. 2-1 pitch is lifted straight up again in foul territory. Beer again along with Nava, will give it chase, and this time they'll run out of room right by the first base dugout. So Anderson living large right now with staying alive at the plate with a couple of foul balls that just drifted out of play. So it's 2 balls and 2 strikes to him. Anderson having a conversation with somebody in his own dugout. Batting average right now at .343 with his 1 for 2 tonight. That's up and in just off the inside corner. It's 3-2. Beats this one foul towards the dugout. So now he probably said, all right, you don't like my foul balls the other way, now I'm going to hit one at you. It bounces off the screen in front of the new dugouts here at FirstEnergy Stadium. And fouls another one out of play, so he's making Luke Russo work here to start this 5th inning.
No action in the Reading bullpen right now. Russo at 75 pitches. Got to think it's going to be his last inning, and I think if someone gets on, we'd probably start to see somebody start throwing in the Reading's bullpen.
3-2 pitch. Lifts this one straight up in the infield. Moore and Miller are there. Miller will take charge right behind the second base bag, and they finally get Max Anderson out for the first time in a couple of games without number 1 here in the 5th.
I mean, look, you get Max Anderson out, you'll take that. Good work by Luke Russo. And look, if you get through 5 innings, you can keep it at the 4 runs. I think all things considered, a pretty good outing so far by Luke Russo. It's going to be 3 runs earned against him, so let's try to get another one here.
Lorenzo 1 for 2 with an RBI single the first time up, and he beats this one fouled. His defense hasn't helped Luke Russo out a whole lot in this ballgame. He's given up 6 hits. But the leadoff walk last inning didn't help him a whole lot. The lone walk he has surrendered, it came back around to score. 0-1 pitch to Lorenzo is lifted straight up again. Shallow left center field. Miller goes back, Mendez comes in, and the left fielder will call for to make the catch for out number 2. Lots of towering fly balls in this ballgame.
It's crazy how baseball works. Tommy McCollum has started throwing, and he just started throwing. So obviously it would be if Russo gets into trouble here, which hopefully is not the case, but if not, then McCollum would get the ball in the 6th inning.
Well, he's had Jake Holton's number so far. He's 0 for 2 with a couple of strikeouts, and he swings and beats this one foul at the plate. So quickly ahead of Holton 0-1. This one is inside. It's 1-1. This one misses just outside. It's 2-1. Here in this top of the 5th inning, take a look at today's Fightin' Phil's alumni report presented by Deer Country. Another base hit tonight for Justin Crawford for the Lehigh Valley Iron Pigs. He's up to 326 now. There's a ground ball left side to Pinellas. Low throw dug out nicely by Seth Beer, and that will retire the side for the SeaWolves here in the 5th on the ground ball to the third baseman, Pinellas. Erie goes no runs, no hits, no errors, and nobody left to the bottom of the 5th when we come back to FirstEnergy Stadium. It's 4-3, Erie on top.
Bottom half of the fifth inning is presented by Cornwall Manor, a unique and charming community nestled on a 190-acre wooded campus with many walking trails, including the Lebanon County Rail Trail. Keaton Anthony will lead it off for the Fightin Phils here in the bottom of the fifth. They trail 4-3. As Jaden Ham back out for his fifth inning of work. He's at 73 pitches right now. I believe 79 is his high on the season. He has not gone more than 5 innings in any of his previous 9 starts. And yeah, 79 pitches was the most he has thrown in a game, 78 in his last outing. First pitch to Keaton Anthony is up high for a ball. Anthony on base both times in this ball game. Safe on a fielder's choice, drove in a run, and a base hit his last time up. So 1 for 2. 1-0 pitch is lifted down the first base line and out of play. It's 1-1. Anthony with 18 doubles on the year. Just 2 home runs and 24 RBIs now on the year with his RBI back in the first. 1-1 pitch to him. Lifts this one again down the first base line, but slicing foul. Bigby will give it a chase, but he'll run out of room. Infield for Erie plays the right-hand hitting Keaton Anthony pretty much to pull, but not overly to their left. Outfield slightly to the right. 1-2 pitch. Anthony just kind of throws his bat at it. It worked very well last time. He threw his bat at it, went back up the middle for a base hit. This one goes out of play, foul. It stays 1-2. So with his 1 for 2 now, Keaton Anthony's batting average up to .329 on the season. 1-2 pitch to him. Checked his swing, doesn't matter. It's a call. It's D-right 3. Keaton Anthony goes down looking. Third strikeout for Jaden Ham. First out here in the fifth. Seth Beer now will bat. Beer 0 for 2, flew out to center, ground out to short. Hit it well the last time up, right back through the middle, but Trey Cruz, the shortstop, was right there to take the hit away from him. And the first pitch to Beer here is down low for a ball. Just realized you just said Beer here. Not a vendor,
It could be a
but
vendor.
I could have been.
Beer, 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 beer.
This time it's 2-0 to Beer here.
You have to pause after you say the word beer before you say here.
You got to think about what you're going to say next. 2-0 pitch is there for a called strike 1. It's 2-1. This one hit into center field. Back goes Campos. He'll have plenty of room in straightaway center for out number 2. And that'll bring up Felix Reyes. Reyes with an infield single his last time up. He's 1 for 2. Went 3 for 3 in his only other start in this series in game 1 of the doubleheader yesterday. Phils won the first game of the series on Tuesday 1-0. Then Wednesday, of course, we were rained out, which led us to a doubleheader yesterday. SeaWolves won the first one 7-2. They won the second 5-4. Here's another infield pop-up, this one in foul territory. And the catcher, Lorenzo, will take charge, and he'll make the catch for out number 3. So the Phils go weakly in the fifth. No runs, no hits, no errors, and nobody left. The game is now official. We're through 5. It's 4-3 SeaWolves. Top half of the 6th inning, and for the first time tonight, we have the Alvernia University Golden Wolves call the bullpen. as the Phils will bring in the right-hander Tommy McCullum.
McCollum's been good. It's his 7th appearance with Reading since being recalled from Jersey Shore. He does not have any decisions, a .96 ERA, just 1 earned run allowed in 9 1/3 innings pitched, 7 strikeouts, and 0 walks for McCollum. Looked really good last time out, 5 days ago at Portland. 2 innings a hit, 0s across, and 3 strikeouts, which was a season high for McCollum. The 6'5", 260-pounder will turn 26 next week. Played his college ball at Wingate from Atlanta, Georgia.
He will face Justice Bigby, Roberto Campos, and Eduardo Valencia for the SeaWolves here in the top of the 6th inning. Again, 4-3 is our score, Erie on top. And a delay now as something got loose from in right field, and Felix Reyes has to go pick it up. Used to say that when there was a ball loose from the bullpens, but that's not the case anymore. This one, somebody dropped something from the pool pavilion. So Felix Reyes tosses it back up, and now we're ready to go. Start the top half of this 6th inning. McCullum dealing to Bigby, who's 0 for 2 on the day. And the first pitch to him is over for a called strike 1. The 0-1 pitch is low. It's 1-1. Bigby flew out to left, ground out to short in his 2 plate appearances. McCullum's 1-1 pitch. Drives this one into right center field gap. Reyes closes and will make the catch. Felix Reyes closes the gap and takes the base hit away.
That's a very good play by Felix Reyes. Covered a lot of ground there. Reyes, someone who naturally is listed as an infielder, has kind of played both infield and outfield, and makes a very nice play in right field to take an extra base hit away from Roberto Campos.
That actually was Bigby. This is Campos. Campos on base twice in this game and has scored both runs. Singled and scored and walked and scored. And the first pitch up the middle. Robert Moore, the second baseman, is there, but he bobbled it, and Campos is going to be safe at first base. So Moore was there. He made the backhanded stop, and in the transition from glove to bare hand, it just fell out. And I would imagine that's got to be error number 3 on the Fightin' Phils tonight.
Yeah, we'll see what they officially rule it.
Yep.
Yeah, and it is going to be an error. So 5th of the year on Robert Moore.
Phils had been playing pretty good defense of late, but it hadn't been pretty tonight. And I got to hope that Erie does not make them pay for it again, as Valencia now will bat. And the first pitch to him is outside for a ball. Valencia singled his last time up. Came around to score what is right now the go-ahead run for the SeaWolves in a 4-3 ball game. Campos takes his lead off of first. And this one inside, it's 2-0.
Erie does have bullpen action. R.J. Pettit, the righty, is up and throwing. So he kind of alluded to last inning the fact it's probably the end of the line for Jaden Ham, but yeah, looks like Pettit will be coming in for the bottom of the 6th inning.
It's 2 balls and no strikes now to Eduardo Valencia. Swing and a miss. Big cut for Valencia, almost came out of his helmet, and it's 2-1. Valencia really dives in on the pitches and then gets a little annoyed when the pitches almost hit him. Two 2-1 pitch. That's on the outside corner. It's 2-2. No indication as of yet from Campos that he might be taking off. He does have good wheels. 3 stolen bases on the year.
3 for 3. But Erie's a team, they do not steal a lot. They have not attempted a stolen base this week. They're 12 for 25 this season. That's just 48%. By far and away, least amount of steals and least amount of attempts in the Eastern League.
One of the few statistics that are not one of the leaders in terms of the offense. It's 2-2 now to Valencia. Swing and a miss. Strike 3 as McCullum comes back to get the strikeout for out number 2.
For what it's worth, Erie has less stolen base attempts than the next lowest team has in stolen bases. They have 25 stolen base attempts. The second fewest stolen base in the league this year is Richmond with 33.
Wow. Well, I guess if you can hit the way they do, they don't need to steal bases. As Chris Myers now bats, and the first pitch to him is low for a ball. Myers is 1 for 2. I mean, they're 10-plus points better than everybody else just in batting average alone and way ahead of everybody in runs scored in the league. 1-0. Now Campos does take off. This one is lifted into right field. Reyes calls for it, and he'll make the catch for the third and final out of the inning. So for this particular occasion, at least, Erie doesn't make the Fightins pay for the error. No runs, no hits, and the one error and one man left on base will head to the bottom of the sixth when we get back to America's Classic Ballpark. It's 4-3 Erie on top. Bottom half of the sixth inning, and the Auburn University Gold Wolves call the bullpen for the SeaWolves. We'll bring in the right-hander, R.J. Pettit.
R.J. Pettit, the big righty, is in for the SeaWolves, making appearance number 14 of the year. He had started a game, too, and he's been good. 5-0, 1.93 ERA. Does have a save in 2 opportunities. 23 and 1/3 innings pitched, 13 hits allowed. He has not allowed a home run, walked 7, struck out 28. Opposition is hitting 157 against R.J. Pettit this season.
Big, the operative word, listed as 6'9" and 280. Alex Benelis will be the first one to face him here in the bottom of the sixth, with the Phils trailing 4-3. Benelis will be followed by Cade Fergus and Andrik Nava for the Fightins here in the sixth. That's 7, 8, and 9 in the lineup. First pitch to Benelis is over for a called strike. Established in 1928, the Manor Golf Club is one of the oldest public courses in eastern Pennsylvania, located between Philadelphia, Lancaster, and Allentown and Sinking Spring. It offers a true test of golf on a championship-style course. Visit themanorgolfclub.com for more information. As Benelis fouls one off his foot at the plate, it's no balls and 2 strikes to the left-hand hitting third baseman, who's 0 for 2 on the night. Takes that one up high. It's 1 and 2. Benelis now 3 for 8 since signing with the Phillies organization before this series, after being released by the Red Sox organization, was playing at AAA Worcester. This one is lifted foul and out of play. It stays 1 and 2.
I was talking to Benelis today. So he got released by Worcester, drove through the night back home to Wisconsin, got home at about 7 in the morning, took a 4-hour nap, signed with the Phillies, then turned around and drove all the way to Reading, PA from Wisconsin.
Swing and a miss here. He comes up empty, and Benelis is a strikeout victim. And I mean, that's a good and a bad thing. I mean, it's great that you got signed by another team, but right back in the car for the long drive. Benelis has a walk back to the dugout here as he strikes out to start the sixth. And that will bring up Cade Fergus. Fergus has been on base both times tonight, safe on an error and single. First pitch to him is on the inside corner for a called strike 1. And right back with a slider that's there for a strike 2. Cade Fergus quickly in a hole, no balls and 2 strikes. Now he'll call time at the plate. Hits this one fouled on the third baseline, right past Al Padrique. Skipper makes the smart call and doesn't bother to try to field that.
But it was way down the line, too, so that's all Chris Myers.
That turns it into a souvenir to someone on the deck. Stays no balls and 2 strikes to Cade Fergus. Fergus now 3 for 11 in the series. And that's over for a called third strike, and Fergus knew it. Back with a slider again. And Cade Fergus takes it for a called third strike. 2 down now in the 6th, and Andrik Nava now will bat.
For what it's worth, no bullpen action currently for Reading, so it looks like Tommy McCollum is going to get a second inning after a very good 6.
First pitch to Andrik Nava is over for a called strike, so Pettit filling up the strike zone right now. As Nava, who's 0 for 2 in the game, is behind 0-1. Beats this one foul down the third base line. This time, Al Padrique will make the play. So it's quickly no balls and 2 strikes now to Andrik Nava. Beats another one foul, this time down the first base line. Sharing it among the coaches as Michael Jones will field this one. Haven't seen a variation of that yet, at least not in the home games that we've seen between the Al Padrique at third base, Michael Jones at first, as Nava fouls another one out of play.
Yeah, last year there was a good amount of mix and match, and we've had nothing so far.
So Andrik Nava staying alive right now at no balls and 2 strikes.
It's a good timing there with the song
How about
playing.
that? Great minds think alike. Way outside, it's 1-2. Way inside, now it's 2-2. So Nava did indeed stay alive, gets himself back in a little bit better position here at 2 balls and 2 strikes now. And now make it 3-2. So Pettit was throwing nothing but strikes, and now Nava has worked the count full. And he lines this one to left field. Back goes Myers, back to the track, looks up, and it's off the wall. Andrik Nava will roll into second base with a stand-up 2-out double.
Great swing from Andrik Nava, who has put some good swings on baseballs as of late. You take a look at the replay here, pretty much a fastball, little bit of sink to it, but it's right down the middle. Nava stays on it, sends it the other way, just misses a home run by a couple of feet. So got a 2-out base runner, top of the lineup up here and more. He's got a hit, scored a couple of runs today. Miller on deck. Let's see if the Fightin' Phils can do some damage.
Robert Moore singled and scored in the first, walked and scored in the third. So officially 1 for 2 on the day with the 2-run score. Now looking for his first RBI and trying to tie this one up. And he beats this one on the ground right to the second baseman, Max Anderson. He'll make the play, and that quickly the inning comes to an end. For the Phils in the 6th, no runs, 1 hit. No errors, 1 left, 6 complete. It remains 4-3. Erie on top. Top half of the 7th inning is presented by White Star Travel, the official group sponsor of the Reading Fightin' Phils. Visit whitestartours.com for more information. Top half of the 7th inning and 4-3. The score remains in favor of the Erie SeaWolves. We get a chance to give you our This Day in Baseball Town history presented by Body Zone Sports and Wellness, the official workout facility of the Art Phils. And when Jake Starr does work, I got to give him credit for it, so he does the work. May 30th of 1998. Akron. Reggie Taylor goes 4 for 6 with 2 runs and 3 RBIs in Reading's 7-5 10-inning win. All the way back before Jake Starr graced the earth with his presence.
Yeah, about a year and a half before.
See that? I know when the world became different.
True.
Top of the order, and Trey Cruz leads off here in the 7th. And the first pitch from Tommy McCullum is up high for a ball.
I don't know if you noticed this. Whenever Trey Cruz comes to bat, he looks like an excited little kid on Christmas morning. He's running, he's hopping, he's skipping and jumping all the way to the batter's box.
3rd-generation professional baseball player, and swing and a miss here. It's 1-1. Again, if you missed it from our games earlier, Trey Cruz is the son of former Toronto Blue Jay Jose Cruz and the grandson of former Houston Astro Jose Cruz the elder. Jose Cruz, a great player for the Astros on that 1980 Astros team that battled the Philadelphia Phillies for the National League Championship. His son, Jose Jr., played from 1997 to 2008, and this is Trey Cruz. 1 ball and 2 strikes to him, and a swing and a miss here. Maybe not so happy now as he's walking back to the dugout, a strikeout victim to start the 7th.
Yeah, a little bit of a slower walk back to the dugout, but good pitch from Tommy McCullum, who we've talked about. He's been good. He started the year in high A, which was definitely a bit of a surprise. He had spent pretty much the last year and a half here in Reading and was pretty good. He led the team in 10 saves last year and has many opportunities. I know he had some hiccups here and there, but he's been a pretty reliable arm, and that's what he's been since he's come back.
Carlos Mendoza takes one up at the top of the strike zone for strike 1. And he had the closer role for a period of time last year.
In 10 saves.
Yep. No balls and a strike as Mendoza now will call timeout. Mendoza's 0 for 3.
10 for 10 in saves. And look, some of them, they got a little hairy at times, but like a good closer does, they get the job done.
No balls and a strike. Mendoza beats this one foul way out in front of a changeup. I think the changeup from McCullum could be a really good pitch because as big as he is, I think you think he's going to throw hard. I mean, he doesn't really throw all that hard for a guy who's 6'5" and 260. I mean, he's low 90s, but I think he just looks like he's going to throw harder. 0-2 pitch. This one is the fastball, and it's fouled straight back. So you come with the changeup, and then you come back with that fastball at 94 that looks that much faster. So it remains no balls and 2 strikes to Carlos Mendoza. This one down the third base line, but foul really got in on the kitchen of Carlos Mendoza. And he just fended it off down the third base line to stay at no balls and 2 strikes. Good crowd on hand on a Fiesta Friday here at FirstEnergy Stadium with fireworks to follow. Phil's playing as Los Luchadores, as they always do on a Friday night. Count remains no balls and 2 strikes to Carlos Mendoza with 1 out in the 7th. That's outside ball 1. Mendoza lays off.
Yeah, McCullum, a bit of an interesting story. Pitched at Division II Wingate, signed by the Phillies as an undrafted free agent in 2021.
1-2 pitch from him. Beats it foul, bounced up and hit him as it rolls out in front of the plate. But it hit Mendoza, so quickly ball is called dead upon contact with the batter. So it stays 1 ball and 2 strikes to Carlos Mendoza, who's now 3 for 14 in this series. Does have a home run and an RBI in this series, one of his 2 home runs on the year. One-two pitch again. This time he lays off on the inside corner. It's 2-2.
Yeah, that's been a strike at times tonight. I think Mendoza thought at first and kind of looked surprised, like, oh, nice, like I get to see another pitch.
See what McCullum delivers to him. Mendoza, the left-handed hitter, very open stance. 2-2 pitch is way outside, and that's an easy take for Mendoza. It goes to 3-2. Beats this one on the ground. Big hop to Robert Moore to make the play without a problem at first base for 2 outs here in the 7th.
Yeah, kicked off a lip or something. It looked like it was going to be a low hopper to Moore, who was ready for that. And I think it hit off the lip of where the grass and dirt kind of transition, as you see on the replay on MILB TV. if you're watching at home, and it just kind of kicked up. I mean, Morgan will take it, face-high hop. It makes it a little easier.
So that'll bring up the very dangerous Max Anderson. He's been on base only twice so far tonight in 3 plate appearances. They got him out the last time on an infield pop-up. And the first pitch to him is outside for a ball. Anderson, the right-handed hitter, doubled and scored in the first, safe on an error, and that infield pop-up we alluded to. Ended a string of being on base 7 straight times. 1-0 pitch. Lines this one into center field. Fergus has it sighted up, and he'll make the catch. Anderson hit it on the bullet, but right at Cade Fergus for the 3rd out. Erie in the 7th. No runs, no hits, no errors, and nobody left. It's 7th inning stretch time in Baseball Town. It's 4-3 Erie on top. Bottom half of the 7th inning brought to you by Schwartz Culleton PC. Have you or a loved one been injured? Get justice. Call Schwartz Culleton today at 1-800-JUSTICE. Fight Phil's down 4-3 as they come to plate in the bottom half of the 7th inning. R.J. Pettit back out for his 2nd inning of work. Aiden Miller, Hendry Mendez, and Keaton Anthony due up for the Phils here in the 7th. That's 2, 3, and 4 in the Phillies lineup. Nick Castellanos is homered at Citizens Bank Park in the bottom of the 7th. Phil still batting and still trailing against the Brewers 5-2. Aiden Miller homered it earlier in this ballgame, a towering home run over the deck in left field as the rain has now begun to fall here at FirstEnergy Stadium. And the first pitch to Aiden Miller is a ball. Miller 2 for 3 on the night. 1-0 pitch is lifted into right field, but right there is Justice Bigby, and he'll make the catch for out number 1. So Aiden Miller is retired on a couple of pitches. It'll bring Hendry Mendez to the plate. Mendez 1 for 3 on the night. Now we were hoping we were able to get this one in tonight. We know where it's official, but we knew the rain was coming. And we got to the bottom of the 7th before the skies open up a bit. First pitch to Mendez is outside for a ball as the fans begin to scatter for cover. One-0 pitch. Mendez takes it outside. It's 2-0. Mendez singled into first and a couple of ground outs to second base in his last 2 plate appearances. So 1 for 3 on the night. Average now at 296 on the season. 2-0 pitch is lifted again. Infield pop-up. The second baseman Cruz, the third baseman Mendoza go out, and Mendoza will make the call and the catch for out number 2. Boy, we've had a lot of
infield pop-ups.
Pop-ups to infielders in this series, and even more of a pace of it tonight. Keaton Anthony now will bat. Anthony 1 for 3 with an RBI. First pitch from Pettit. Anthony takes it for a called strike 1. So that's the way Pettit started out in the 6th, firing strikes, and then got himself in a little bit of trouble on the Nava double. He gets ahead of Anthony, no balls and 1 strike. Anthony with a very late protective swing fouls it out of play. It's no balls and 2 strikes.
He actually hit it off that auxiliary scoreboard. So I feel like it's the first time in like our 3 years that I've seen a ball fouled off that auxiliary scoreboard.
Great point. I think you're right.
Seems like it's a fairly easy target to some degree. No balls and 2 strikes. And that's out of play. I kind of forget that thing's there because it's in my blind spot.
I mean, lefty's likely not going to get it because you got to really turn on one. A righty, it's still a tough angle, all things considered.
Stays no balls and 2 strikes to Anthony. On a hop to Trey Cruz. The shortstop will make the throw in plenty of time. And the Phils go quietly here in the 7th. No runs, no hits, no errors, and nobody left. 7 complete. It's 4-3, Erie on top. As we head to the top of the 8th inning, the Auburn University Golden Wolves call the bullpen has been made. Travis Kuhn comes in to tell you about it and take over play-by-play is my broadcast partner, Jake Starr.
Thank you very much, Bob. Travis Kuhn has been good this year. 15th appearance of the year, tied for the team high. Also leads the team in wins, 4 and 1 loss overall, no saves. A 3.72 ERA, 19 and 1/3 innings pitched, 18 strikeouts and 9 walks. Also, you're looking for a dining experience that blends history with flavor. B2 Bistro in West Reading inside the historic Narrow Fabric Building offers a hip industrial vibe with a garden-to-table menu. Enjoy handcrafted coffee at our B2 Cafe or savor fresh, locally sourced dishes inspired by American and Mediterranean bistro-style cooking. Plus, our bar features rotating craft beers, eclectic wines, and expertly crafted cocktails. B2 Bistro and Bar is a proud 2025 Fightin Phillies team feed partner. So 4-3, Erie on top, top 8. Tyron Lorenzo leads off, and the first pitch from Kuhn is a bit up and away for a ball. It's 1-0.
There is activity in the Erie bullpen as well after the 2 innings from R.J. Pettit. Richard Gouache up and throwing.
Lorenzo tonight is 1 for 3. Next pitch a bit up, it's 2-0. Good outing from Tommy McCullum tonight. 2 more innings. Zeros across the board except for 2 strikeouts. So he continues his impressive stint here since being called up to Reading earlier this month. 2-0. Swinging a ground ball foul down the right field line. It's 2-1.
Both pitching staffs have thrown strikes tonight. Only 1 walk given up by the pitchers on each side. 1 walk for Erie pitchers, 1 walk by the Phil's pitchers.
Yeah, I mean, outside of the errors on each side, it's been a pretty well-played game. Of course, the errors that hurt Reading, one of those runs is unearned. Next pitch home is missed up and away by Kuhn. It's 3-1 to Lorenzo. Four 3 Erie on top, top 8. Reading's offense got 6 outs to work with. And the 3-1 is down for a ball. So that's a walk to start off this 8th inning of Tyron Lorenzo by Travis Kuhn. And that'll bring Jake Holton to the plate for the SeaWolves. Holton, who's 0 for 3 in tonight's ball game. Couple of strikeouts and a ground out.
Well, as I may have spoken too soon, as I said about the walks, but I will say this, that the first 2 walks, 1 on each side, as I said, both of them have scored in this game.
First pitch to Holton's inside of the righty. It's 1-0.
So let's hope that trend stops now after the leadoff walk to Lorenzo. Speaking of stop, I think the rain has stopped as well.
1-0 is a slider for a called strike. It's 1-1. Holton, a .243 hitter on the season. Does have 9 home runs. He's driven in 23. 1-1 to him is a line drive. Miller dives, makes the catch. He'll throw back to first. It won't be in time, but what a play by Aiden Miller at shortstop, and his impressive night continues. We'll take a look at the replay here on MILB TV. 105 off the bat, and Miller lays out for it. He has had an impressive night at shortstop, too.
Yeah, and then the heads-up play to quickly get up and make the throw back to first base just in case Lorenzo drifts a little bit too far to maybe get a double play out of it.
So here's Justice Bigby. The first pitch to him is slider a bit inside of the righty. It's 1-0.
Look, we've said this before, and we're going to continue to say it because of what Aiden Miller means to not only the Reading Phillies in 2025, but the Phillies organization. If he continues to make the plays, the Phillies are going to allow him to continue to play shortstop.
1-0 to Bigby. Swings, fly ball, first base side, foul territory, and Beer makes the catch. Got a step in front of the Savage dugout suite. So after the leadoff walk, 2 quick outs of Erie, and that'll bring Roberto Campos to the plate for the SeaWolves.
When Aiden Miller was drafted, the thought was immediately that they would move him either to third base or maybe even to the outfield, and that he would ultimately be too big to play the shortstop spot. I mean, he's not there's been bigger guys than Aiden Miller who have played shortstop in the big leagues, and none personifies that more than Cal Ripken. Cal Ripken was 6'4".
First pitch to Campos. He swings in a line drive, right center field. Reyes over, lays out, and Felix Reyes makes the catch. An inning full of web gems from the Fightin' Phils. First Aiden Miller, then Felix Reyes. You'll take another look at it on MILB TV, and that is how the top half of the 8th inning comes to an end. No runs, no hits, there were no errors, and 1 man left on base. We will head to the bottom half of the 8th inning. The Fightin' Phils are trailing still. It's 4-3. Bottom half of the 8th inning, we'll take a look at our Fightin' Phils team leaders. And our team leader in RBI with another one tonight, Keaton Anthony, sitting at 24 on the season. So 4-3 Erie leads, home half of the 8th. New pitcher in for the SeaWolves, it's right-handed arm, Richard Gouache.
Just signed by the Tigers organization recently, making just his 2nd appearance with the SeaWolves. No decisions, no earned run average as well. In that 1 appearance, he pitched 2 innings. He gave up 3 hits. He struck out 2. He did not walk a batter. Gouache had been with the Washington Nationals organization, pitched for the Harrisburg Senators most recently.
So Seth Beer, the first he faces, and the first pitch, Beer swings, and he fouls it off to the left side and out of play. It's 0-1. Knew the name sounded familiar. We had seen him in Harrisburg previously.
Yep. Appeared in 31 games, 8 starts with Harrisburg from 22 to 24.
0-1. It's at the knees on the outside corner for a strike. It's 0-2 to Seth Beer. Gouache was playing in the Mexican League to start the year. Was 2-0, 13 appearances, and a 1.93 ERA prior to signing. 0-2 is up, 1-2. Had 3 saves, 25 strikeouts, 3 walks, 14 innings pitched. .16 strikeouts per 9 in the Mexican League for Gouache. 1-2. Beer will check his swing on a pitch down. There's no appeal, so it's a ball, 2-2.
This is a guy who's just due. He's had 1 really big hit in his time since signing with the Reading Fightin Phils and the Phillies organization for that matter, and that was the home run the last series. But Seth Beer is due.
2-2. Swing and a miss, and Beer goes down on strikes. So first strikeout for Richard Gouache. That'll bring Felix Reyes to the plate. Take a look back at the line for R.J. Pettit. 2 strong innings for him. A hit, no runs, no walks, a couple of strikeouts. Be credited with a hold.
It's a great play by Aiden Miller at shortstop, but it pales in comparison to the play by Felix Reyes to end the inning. That was a tremendous play.
And the first pitch to Reyes. He swings and misses. It's 0-1. Felix Reyes 1 for 3 tonight. Was 3 for 3 with a double in game 1 of last night's doubleheader. That's just season high in hits and also doubles in that game. He's hitting .329. He's got 4 home runs. He's driven in 12. He's a guy who can certainly tie this game with one swing of the bat. The 0-1 is up and into the righty. It's a ball and a strike.
What you like about Felix Reyes, he gives you what he's got. I mean, he's not somebody who's going to sparkle in any way, but he hustles in everything he does, whether it's on the bases or what he's done tonight in the outfield.
1-1 from Gouache. Reyes, a swing and a fly ball hit towards right. Not deep. Started in was Bigby. Now goes back, and he does track it down. Bigby came in to start and then had to race back. Does track it down. So that's out number 2, and that'll bring Alex Pinellas to the plate.
Yeah, Justice Bigby's very fortunate that ball had just a little bit of a lift to it. As Jake said, he broke in on it and then realized, and he had to go back and scramble back to the track and just before the wall. I think it was hit, obviously, much more so than Bigby thought, but it just kept carrying. But fortunately for Bigby, it was high enough that it gave him enough time to recover. Or otherwise, Reyes is on second base with the tying run.
Had a bit of a long mound meeting there between the catcher Lorenzo and the first baseman Valencia and third baseman Mendoza. So 2 outs. Alex Pinellas in. First pitch is at the knees for a called strike, 0-1. Quiet night for Pinellas. He's 0 for 3, couple of strikeouts. Came after he reached base and had hits in his first 2 games with Reading on Tuesday and Thursday. How about a big swing here? 0-1. Pinellas takes it up and away. It's a ball and a strike.
Well, he's got pop. There's no doubt about it. Pinellas had a couple home runs at AAA Worcester before he was released.
Ball and a strike. 2 outs to Pinellas. Running down 4-3 in the 8th. Gouache fires. Pinellas swings and he pops it up. Foul territory, third base side. Mendoza, the third baseman, gives it a look, but it'll go out of play foul into the 67 club, and it's 1-2. Reading's bullpen quiet, so Travis Kuhn will get the top of the 9th. One ball, 2 strike count to Alex Pinellas. Seth Beer had a big welcome to Reading moment a couple of weeks ago. See if Pinellas can do the same. Pitch home, and he swings and misses. So a couple of strikeouts in the inning for Richard Gouache. Reading goes down in order. We'll head to the 9th. Erie still on top. SeaWolves lead it 4-3. Tonight's attendance at FirstEnergy Stadium is 7,021. Thanks to our friends at PSECU for presenting tonight's attendance. PSECU is proud to be one of the largest credit unions in Pennsylvania. Well, Reading trails at 4-3. They are out hitting Erie 8-6. The bullpen has been really strong so far. Travis Kuhn back out for a second inning of work.
Here comes the rain again, Jake.
Well, right on cue. I mean, unless it gets really heavy, you got to think they're going to try to push to get this one through.
Absolutely. Six outs away from a full game.
Of course, the game is official. You take a look on your stream if you are watching on MILB TV, the rain coming down. Also, some rain is starting to accumulate on the top of the dugout.
That's never a good thing.
Now, so here is Eduardo Valencia, digs in from the right side. 8-9-1 due up for Erie here in the inning. And the first pitch home is there for a strike. It's 0-1. Eduardo Valencia is 1 for 3 tonight. He's got a single sandwiched between a couple of strikeouts. Next pitch, swinging a line drive towards center. Back goes Fergus, then in a step, and the center fielder makes the catch. That's out number 1. And that'll bring Chris Myers to the plate.
We had a couple moments last night where it's some head scratchers of where Erie was positioned for some of the Phillies batters. In tonight's game, the Fightin Phillies batters, defensive players have been positioned in great spots. And that personified perfectly. That way, he pulled it off the bat from Valencia, but Fergus barely had a move.
First pitch to Chris Myers, swings and he dribbles it foul. It's 1-0.
We've had some good defensive plays made in this game. We've obviously had some flubs as well, with the Phils committing 3 errors along the way.
0-1 the count to Chris Myers. Kuhn the righty ready. Comes set. First base side, deals home. That's a slider, misses it up. It's 1-1. Myers tonight's 1 for 3. A single and a couple of flyouts to right. And the 1-1 is down for a ball. It's 2-1. Next inning, Reading has 8-9-1 due up. Fergus, Nava, then the top of the order. We'll see if they opt to use any pinch hitters. They do have Leandro Pineda on the bench. Wouldn't shock me if he gets a chance to hit next inning. 2-1 is there for a strike. 2-2.
Yeah, that's a good question. We have not seen the Phils use pinch hitters a whole lot. I don't know if that's an opportunity. Again, I'm guessing that's more of an organizational thing, that if the guys in the lineup, let them hit.
Now, on Sunday in Portland, Pineda did pinch hit, had a double, which eventually led to the Robert Moore go-ahead triple that gave Reading the win on Sunday. And the 2-2 is in sight to Myers. It's 3-2. Rain has picked up again, heavier than it was the first time. 1 out on the top of the 9th. Erie leads 4-3. 3-2 from Kuhn, swinging a ground ball towards second. 2-hopper for Moore, waits back on it, fires the first in plenty of time for out number 2. And that'll bring Trey Cruz and the top of the lineup to the plate here for Erie. So Trey Cruz digs in from the left side. He's 1 for 4 in tonight's ball game. He has singled, grounded out the short, and has also struck out a couple of times. And the first pitch from Kuhn is put inside for a ball. It's 1-0. So umbrellas have came out. I think almost every seat now that's under cover in the green box is being occupied. Not that it wasn't already. Next pitch is low and away. 2-0. Gets away from the catcher, Nava. Be intrigued to see what the umps decide to do after this game, after this inning. Do they push it and just say, let's play the 9th, or do they call out the tarp crew? Next pitch is up and away. It's 3-0, and Kuhn definitely struggling to grip the baseball a little bit right now.
Yeah, he's doing it proverbially. He's trying to keep that hand dry, using his pants, using his shirt, now using the rosin bag. Yep.
So 3 balls, no strikes to count to Trey Cruz. Pitch home is there for a called strike. It's 3-1.
And again, the way the game is played now, with the spin rate that these pitchers can put on the baseball, gripping it is such a pertinent part of all of that.
3 balls, 1 strike, 2 outs. The pitch. Swinging a ground ball tapper in front of the plate. It'll roll in the foul territory where Travis Kuhn will pick it up. So it's 3-2.
Yeah, that's the best thing that could have happened because they were not going to get Trey Cruz, who realized, hey, I may have a shot at a base hit here if I can outrun everybody to the bag, and he was well on his way to doing that. And the best thing that could have happened was for that to start to trickle foul eventually, and the moment it did, Travis Kuhn touched it. It's coming down hard now.
It is coming down. 3-2, 2 outs. Nobody on, 4-3, top 9. Kuhn's ready against Cruz. The ready set at the belt, payoff pitch. That's down ball 4. Second walk issued by Travis Kuhn. That'll bring Carlos Mendoza to the plate. He's 0 for 4 tonight. For what it's worth, Erie does have nobody warming up, so if we do play the 9th inning immediately after this top of the 9th concludes, it will be Richard Gouache who comes back out.
As Jake said, Erie does not steal a whole lot of bases. Cruz, two steals in 4 attempts.
First pitch to Mendoza's up. It's 1-0.
But I got to think this would be an opportune time to do it because of the wet ball, the wet conditions, all of that. As long as Cruz could get his footing and not slip on the start, seems to me a good time to try to steal a base.
1-0. They will check on him. So Kuhn and Nava having a similar thought. One ball, no strikes to Mendoza. Strikeout, couple of ground outs, and a fly out for the lefty tonight. Pitch home, squares the bunt, and Kuhn almost lost it.
Yeah, he can't grip the ball.
Not at all.
You got to wonder what the conversation might be from the dugout. I mean, is Al Padrique and Brad Bergeson saying, hey, my guy can't grip the baseball? I mean, it's literally just squirted out of his hand.
Yeah, I mean, it's a tough situation right now.
Right.
2 balls, no strikes, 2 outs. And the pitch. That's there for a strike 2-1 because one part it's picked up a lot. The other part is you're so close to the end of this game.
Right.
Of course, from our perspective, you want Reading, best case scenario is they could play the 9th. Reading scores 2 runs, wins this game. But a situation, of course, what if Reading ties it, or what if they deem it unplayable after the top of the 9th? Next pitch is a ball up. It's 3-1, and I mean,
that doesn't help.
yeah, that doesn't help at all. That looked fully in the strike zone.
If he wasn't hearing it from the dugout before, he's hearing it now. And rightfully so.
He's definitely hearing it right now from the dugout. I mean, it's raining out.
Yeah.
Ball's a strike, and you don't give it to your pitcher. 3-1 is swung on and crushed but foul. Down the right field line, it's 3-2. So Cruz will be off and running on the pitch. You can see on your stream just how hard it's coming down right now. But there's still kids in that pool. I mean, they're already wet.
What, are you going to get wet?
Well, yeah, what's the worst that happens? So full count, 2 outs here to Carlos Mendoza. Kuhn ready, runner goes, pitch home. Ground ball towards second, hopping over it is Cruz. It goes right to Moore, and he makes the play, and that will retire the side in the 9th. No runs, no hits, no errors, 1 man left. We will head to the home half of the 9th, at least we think so. Reading needs a rally. They trail at 4-3. Well, it's the bottom of the 9th inning. Last chance for the Fightin' Phils. They trail at 4-3 against Erie. Richard Gouache is back in, and he's getting washed pretty hard right now as the rain continues to pick up. But look, I think we're going to give this a shot and try and play this bottom of the 9th inning. Because, I mean, you look at the forecast, doesn't look like the rain's stopping anytime soon.
Yeah, I mean, the forecast was that once we got past 9 o'clock, and we've just touched past 9 o'clock, it's 9:03, that the rain was going to come pretty heavy for quite some time. So I think right now, theoretically, we're in a rush to try to get these last 3 outs. Flip side of that for Reading, you've got to be patient. You got to do what you just watched, which is to see that there's going to be moments where the pitcher's going to have trouble gripping the baseball. So you've got to be patient and let him struggle a little bit and don't help him out.
So Kate Fergus leads things off for Reading. Andrik Nava is in the on-deck circle. I know we talked about whether there maybe will be a pinch hitter in for Reading, but right now it does not look like it. So 4-3 Erie leads here in the 9th. Reading needs a run to tie, 2 to win. And the first pitch to Fergus is up for a ball. It's 1-0. And I mean, if you're Reading, you got to be patient.
I think you got to see a strike. That's what I think. You should go up there with a mindset of you're taking until you see strike 1.
1-0. Inside corner for a strike. It's 1-1. So he calls that a strike. Reading this year is 3-17 when trailing after 8 innings. 1-1 is down in the zone for a strike. It's 1-2.
Yeah, Fergus checked. I don't think it mattered. They called that a strike. It was not an appeal. And now Fergus wants timeout.
Reading's 3 wins after trailing after 8 this year. Twice in Somerset in early April, and then Sunday in Portland. A year ago, Reading won just once when trailing after 8 innings. So this team's got the knack for a comeback. 1-2, Fergus swings and he fouls it.
Well,
no, that's strike 3. Got away from the catcher, and Lorenzo won't have a play as it rolls to the dugout, so Fergus will be aboard.
Yeah, it almost looked, and the reason I think Jake said that, it looked like it hit off the plate and bounced up in the air, and that's why it looked like it was a foul ball, but I think it may have hit the foot of Lorenzo, and that's what made it pop up in the air. And it doesn't matter, Fergus with his speed gets to first base easily, and now you got the tying run on board.
So that helps. That puts the tying run on. Winning run to the plate and Andrik Nava.
So it goes as a strikeout for Gouache, and the wild pitch puts Fergus on base.
Nava squares the bunt, pulls back. It's up 1-0.
So here you go again. I think you do this again. I think you see a strike.
I think you keep squaring, though.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, he's going to square the bunt, but I think you see a strike. Unless he gives you one right there that makes it an easy bunt.
Third baseman Mendoza creeps up. And the pitch, and that's up again. It's 2-0. I'm squaring, but I'm pulling back.
Yeah, because again, the longer this inning goes, I know they can change balls whenever they call for it, but the longer this goes, the wetter the ball is going to be, and the harder it is to grip. We saw Kuhn struggle with it in the top of the 9th.
Nava will square again. 2-0 the count. Here's the pitch. And he pulls back, 3-0. Doing the same thing. I'm squaring, I'm pulling back.
Yeah.
If I'm Nava, I'm not even thinking about making contact here.
Correct. And he's basically missed all 3 pitches in the same spot, up high.
3-0, Fergus on first. Nava will square again. Gouache is ready at the letters and pitches. And Nava pulls back, and that is a strike. It's 3-1.
Okay. Same situation, though. You're at 3-1, and if he gives you a pitch it's in the zone, get the bunt down.
3-1 the count. Gouache ready. They'll throw over to Fergus at first. He's back and standing up. Rain continues to fall. No outs, bottom 9. 4-3 our score. Fergus on first. Nava squares again. Gouache's pitch is outside, ball 4. And I think you're at the argument now that Reading had to pitch to this in the top of the inning.
Absolutely.
So you're going to try and push this unless it gets to a point where it's really unplayable.
Correct. I mean, you would start to see when it starts to get bad, you'd start to see some puddles on the turf around the dirt around the perimeters, and you're not seeing that. We're going to get a pinch runner now for Nava. And Luis Verdugo is going to come in to pinch run for Nava. So to get a little more speed as he represents now the go-ahead run at first base with the top of the order and more at the plate.
Nelson Alvarez has also begun to start throwing.
Got to think Moore's going to squirt a bunt now.
But I'm squaring, I'm pulling back until I get a strike.
Yeah, but I think he's up there with the intention of bunting. Mendoza thinks so at third base.
And Mendoza's up in the grass at third. Moore does square, pulls back, it's a ball, 1-0.
Yep.
That's what I'm squaring and I'm pulling back.
Absolutely, until he throws a strike. He did the Nava, but came right back and missed again with the fifth pitch.
No outs, tying run on first. Second, winning run on first. 1-0, Moore squares, and he gets it down, but foul. It's 1-1. Probably not the worst thing in the world that that went foul.
No, because it wasn't really.
There was no play at third, but still.
No, it just wasn't a very good bunt. He tried to guide that one a little bit, and really he shouldn't be looking to bunt it down the third base line. He should be looking to get it more on the right side.
Yeah, I think first base line. You want to kind of take it with you.
He tried to guide that down the third base line. I think he's happy that went foul.
Ball and a strike. Corners play up. 1-1. Moore squares again. He takes it for a ball low. It's 2-1. Nelson Alvarez continues to throw in the Fightin Phil's bullpen. Erie's pen is quiet. Richard Guash at 24 pitches. Recently signed by the Tigers out of the Mexican League and added to Erie's roster. 2 balls and a strike to Robert Moore. We'll see if he squares again. He does, and he pulls back, and it's a ball of 3-1. So it was a strikeout on a drop third pitch. It was a walk, and that has put the first 2 runners on. Fergus on second. Luis Verdugo, who pinch ran for Andrick Navas, on first. Reading looking for another rally here. 3-1 count. Pitch home, Moore squares, and he gets it down, but foul. It's 3-2. Once again on the third base side. Now Moore's swinging away if he gets a pitch to hit.
Right. Guys, still have to be patient if you're Robert Moore. He's still been erratic with the strike zone here in this bottom of the 9th inning.
3-2 count, no outs. Here in the bottom of the 9th, Reading trails by 1. Moore, switch hitter from the left side. Wash from the third base side, fires home. That's up, ball 4.
Well, when this inning started, I said that if you're the Phils, you've got to be patient here. And you've got to see if Gouache doesn't get himself in trouble. And he has. Now, in terms of where he is in this situation, he's on an island that he created for himself. And here comes Dan Rickaball, the pitching coach, to come talk to him. But as Jake said, nobody's up in the bullpen, so this is his mess, and he didn't have any help to get him out of it. So he's going to have to figure out a way to get out of it. And again, he's a guy who was a starter, so in terms of volume of pitches at this particular point in time, you're not that concerned about it if you're Erie. The concern right now is what's going on. And now all of a sudden Dan Rickaball is having a conversation.
Now here comes Andrew Graham.
Now here's what I think is going to happen. Now we're going to say, well, they're going to complain about the mound.
They're going to talk about the rubber.
I thought they were going to say all of a sudden he was hurt and they're going to have to get somebody up and into the game and give him a free warm-ups. But they're going to complain about the mound.
Yeah, they're not happy at all.
Yep.
I think they're asking for like diamond draw. Yeah, they're going to bring something out for the mound.
So here comes the grounds crew.
This has been one of the games of all games. I think that's the best way to put it.
Yeah, it isn't a work of art, but it's been entertaining. Couple errors, some great plays made as well. Some big hits here and there. Hit the towering home run from Aiden Miller. So there's been some highlights, but there's been some goofy things too.
Fightin Phil's grounds crew led by the fearless Dan Dirt Douglas and Lou Vogel do a terrific job. Also, weird nugget here. If Reading does win this game in the 9th inning, it's going to give Travis Kuhn his team-leading 5th win of the season.
How about that?
Travis Kuhn already has 4 wins on the season, which is the same amount of wins as Reading starters have in total this year.
In addition to which, if it happens, he's going to have 5 of their 18 wins. I mean, this isn't a team that has a ton of wins. I mean, not exactly Steve Carlton 72 percentages, but it's pretty close.
So Aiden Miller will be the batter whenever this does end.
Well, if you're the Phils, you couldn't have painted a better scenario for what you got right now. You got three guys. The third guy doesn't matter a whole lot right now. The first two is what matters. But you got good wheels, and you've got your prized possession at the plate, who's hit the ball well tonight.
All right, so we'll see if Richard Gouache is going to take some warm-up tosses.
Yeah, they've already let him throw a couple just to make sure he's okay with the mound.
All right, so bases loaded, no outs, bottom of the nine, 4-3. Erie's on top. Aiden Miller's the batter. He has a chance to be the hero tonight. Outfield is very shallow. Infield plays back. First pitch, Miller takes it low and away. 1 ball, no strikes.
So that's interesting. They're essentially playing middle infielders, conceding the tying run, hoping to turn a double play. If they turn a double play, we're tied.
I think that's basically saying that they believe the game would get suspended at that point. 1-0 Miller swings and fouls at 1-1.
But obviously there's one out. I see it to try to turn a double play and get that game over with. But I think it's interesting. If he hits a ground ball to short, the game's tied.
Yeah. It's got to put something in play if you're Miller. 1 ball, 1 strike. The pitch. That is up for a ball. It's 2-1. Yeah, I don't know, Bob.
Yeah, it depends on which dugout you're in, whether that was a ball or a strike.
And we'll take it. 2-1 to count to Miller. Bases loaded. And the pitch. That's at the knees for a strike. It's 2-2.
Yeah, I don't think Aiden Miller thought he was going to see a fastball to it, or he thought he was going to see a fastball 2-1.
Got the slider.
And got the slider instead.
Miller's looking for his first Double-A walk-off. He's already got 2 hits, including a home run tonight. The 2-2. Swing and a miss.
Well, technically, that's the second strikeout of the inning for Gouache, but unfortunately for him, it's only the first out. Just about to say it beforehand, how shallow Chris Myers is in left field. Now, Mendez up, okay, maybe so, but he was that shallow with Aiden Miller up.
1 out now for Mendez. A double play would end the game. Single at least ties it. Fergus on third, Verdugo on second. You got some speed out there. First pitch is at the letters for a strike. That was a ball last batter, and now it's 0-1. 4-3 our score. Erie leads in the 9th. Bases loaded as the rain falls. 0-1, Mendez takes it down. It gets away from the catcher and rolls down the line. Fergus stays put as it rolled down the third base line, and it's 1-1.
Yeah, I mean, you really can't fault Cade Fergus there because, look, you have to make that decision in
right away.
Such a short period of time. But it just kept rolling away from Lorenzo because it got a piece of him, and I think he was just, it hurt. And the pitcher, Gouache, had to come run it down.
1-1, 1 out, bases loaded. The pitch, that's up, it's 2-1. That was pitch number 35 for Gouache. Still a pretty good crowd on hand despite the rain. Fireworks scheduled for tonight. Fightin Phillies trying to provide some of their own. Next pitch, Mendez hits it in the air towards right, slicing towards the line. It is foul, but caught. It was caught for some reason. Tagging is Fergus. He'll score, and this game is tied.
Yeah,
I don't know why you catch that baseball, but you'll take it if you're Reading.
Absolutely, because once he caught it, it was going to be an easy tag and score for Cade Fergus. In the meantime, Bigby could have let that drop and take your chances. I mean, maybe Mendez comes back up and gets a base hit and ends the game, but you know it's going to be tied if you catch it. So yeah, you're trading me out. That gets back to what I'm saying about with Aiden Miller. I still don't understand why you're not playing the infield up and you're conceding the run on a double play ball. I don't understand the thought process.
At 4. Here in the 9th, men on the corners, 2 outs for Keaton Anthony. Gouache ready. Verdugo the winning run on third. The pitch Over the head of Anthony. Here comes Verdugo. The throw to the plate. He is safe, and the Fightin' Phils walk it off in the ninth. A wild pitch from Richard Gouache scores Luis Verdugo, and it's a 5-4 victory for the Fightin' Phils tonight.
This is why that catch in right field is doubly a bad play, because you just allowed the go-ahead run to get to third base in wet conditions. That ball was fumbled twice, obviously out of the hand of the pitcher Gouache. He emailed that to the backstop, but Lorenzo, trying to get back to get it, slipped, and then the ball squirted out of his hand as he tried to flip it to his pitcher catching. It's the danger of a wet baseball, but it all gets back to catching that foul ball, opened up the doors for the Phils to walk it off.
For the fourth time this season.
This game should have ended on a wild pitch.
Yes,
because everything else about it was stupid. Why not end it on a wild pitch?
Crazy enough, last September, the second game against Erie, how did Reading win? Catcher's interference.
How about that?
It only makes sense that they win on a wild pitch tonight. What
you
a
know
game.
what it is? It's Erie.
So was this weather, but for the fourth time this season, the Fightin' Phils win a game when trailing, entering the ninth inning. That is called putting the fight in Fightin' Phils.
You walk it off, and you take the W against a team with what's the best record in the Eastern League, or at least tied for it, coming into tonight's game.
So 5-4 the final. Reading wins it tonight. We will step aside for a moment. Bob McCool will have your recap and your post-game show and what's been a wild, wacky, topsy-turvy game. But at the end of the day, it's a 5-4 victory for the Fightin' Phils. We'll step aside for a moment. Bob's got your post-game show after this on the Our Phils Radio Network.
Welcome back to FirstEnergy Stadium. Tonight's postgame show is presented by White Star Travel, the official group sponsor of the Reading Fightin' Phils. Visit whitestartours.com for more information. And the Phils win a wild and wacky and ultimately wet night in FirstEnergy Stadium. The final score 5-4. The Fightin' Phils win it with they score the 2 runs in the bottom half of the ninth inning to walk it off. Quite the entertaining game. Quite a number of mistakes in this game. Quite a number of big plays in this game as well. But more importantly, this series is now even at 2 games apiece. Again, Erie coming into tonight's game with a 32-15 record, tied with Akron at top of the Southwest Division standings in the Eastern League. But those two teams also had the best overall records as well in the Eastern League. And the Phils have played with Erie in this series now, and obviously they have evened this series up at 2 games apiece. But even at that, if you just look at the scores, Reading wins game 1, 1-0. They lost last night in game 2, 5-4. They win tonight's game 5-4. So the really only outlier was game 1 of last night's doubleheader, in which Erie won it by a 7-2 difference. So they've all been 1-run games, and now the series is even at 2 games apiece, with obviously 2 more left to play tomorrow night and again on the series finale on Sunday. So the Fightin' Phils are just playing a little bit better baseball right now, and the wins, they've been hard to come by throughout the season, but it's been getting a little bit better over the course of the last couple of weeks. And now, really, this series starts anew with tomorrow night's game. But we've got more work to do before we sign off tonight's baseball game as the Reading Fightin' Phils win it 5-4. When we come back on our White Star Travel postgame show, we'll run you through the scoring as it happened here on the Reading Fightin' Phils Radio Network. Back after this. Welcome back, our White Star Travel postgame show. The Reading Fightin' Phils and the Erie SeaWolves. Again, this is game number 4 in this series. Matchup of right-handers Jaden Ham for the Erie SeaWolves. Luke Russo for the Reading Fightin' Phils. Russo making just his 3rd start since being called up from Jersey Shore, and even at Jersey Shore was used exclusively as a reliever and with the Blue Claws, but making his 3rd start tonight. And he ultimately did a decent job for the Phils. But as usual in this season of 2025, the Fightin' Phils found themselves in a hole early, with Erie ultimately scoring the first run in the first inning. But it all started after Russo struck out the first 2 batters. Max Anderson lined a double down the right field line for his 6th straight hit, going back over the last 3 games of this series. Max Anderson with his 7th hit of the series, a double down the right field line, and then Tyron Lorenzo plated him with a single to follow to put the SeaWolves up on top 1-0. But the Phils came right back in the bottom half of the first, with Robert Moore leading it off with a base hit. Hendry Mendez then singled him to third base, as Moore went first to third on the base hit by Mendez. And then Keaton Anthony rolled one to the shortstop, Trey Cruz. They tried to turn to double play. They could not do it, and Robert Moore came across with the run. Keaton Anthony gets his 24th RBI of the season. That is team high for the Phils, and we were tied at 1-1. But the SeaWolves came right back in the top of the 2nd inning. A 1-out single by Robert Campos, and then followed by a base hit from Chris Myers, and then a base hit from Trey Cruz. 3 hits for the SeaWolves in the inning, and the RBI single from Trey Cruz, his 22nd RBI of the season, put Erie right back up on top by a 2-1 score. But the Phils changed that in the 3rd inning. Robert Moore let it off and walked, and Aiden Miller stepped to the plate. And Jaden Ham came up and in on a fastball and almost hit Aiden Miller. On the very next pitch, Aiden Miller then hit the baseball a long way, as in 400-plus feet. 400, I'm trying to remember, there's 412, 415, somewhere along those lines. But I know he put it up and over the Seidel Auto Group deck for a towering 2-run home run. For Aiden Miller, his 5th home run of the season, his 11th and 12th RBIs of the season as well. And more importantly, that put the Phils on top by a score of 3-2 in the 3rd inning. Didn't last long, as Russo got himself in trouble by starting the 4th inning by walking Robert Campos. Then Eduardo Valencia singled into center field, sending Campos to 3rd base. Cade Fergus bobbled the ball a little bit, and that allowed Campos to come around to score. It allowed Valencia to move up to second base. He then moved up to third base on a fly ball to right field off the bat of Chris Myers, and then scored on a wild pitch to put Erie back up on top 4-3. And oh, was that an ode of things to come here in this ball game as the fireworks here on a Fiesta Friday have begun here at FirstEnergy Stadium. We stayed a 4-3 game. Great job by Tommy McCullum and Travis Kuhn out of the Reading Phillies bullpen, and a good one as well by R.J. Pettit out of the SeaWolves bullpen in relief of Jaden Ham for the 6th and 7th inning. LaRusso goes 5 innings, gives up 6 hits, 4 runs, 3 of them earned, a walk, and 5 strikeouts. We got to the 9th. The skies opened up in the top of the 9th. Travis Kuhn able to work his way through a little bit of trouble in the 9th inning, and we went to the bottom of the 9th, and the Phillies at the plate with Cade Fergus to start. Fergus swung and missed at strike 3, but the ball got away from the catcher, Tyron Lorenzo. That allowed Fergus to be on first base to start the 9th inning. Andrik Nava was up there to bunt, but the control issues for Richard Gouache with the rain coming down. He ultimately walked Nava, put runners at first and second with nobody out, then put Robert Moore up. He also had intentions of bunting, but ultimately walked as well to load the bases. That brought Aiden Miller to the plate, and Miller, who had 2 hits on the night, comes up and strikes out for the first out. Then Hendry Mendez lifts a fly ball, a towering fly ball down the first base line into the corner, down where the bullpens used to be once upon a time. But the right fielder, Justice Bigby, ultimately made the decision to catch the baseball in foul territory. That allowed Cade Fergus to tag up and score what was the tying run at 4-4. It also allowed the pinch runner, Luis Verdugo, to tag up as well and move from second to third. And with Keaton Anthony at the plate, Gouache airmailed one to the backstop. Verdugo broke for home. By the time Lorenzo, the catcher, could gather it up and bring it back to the plate, Luis Verdugo slid across with the game-winning run, and the Phils walk it off on a wild pitch in the bottom of the 9th to finish off a wild baseball game, and the Phils win it by a final score of 5-4. 5 runs on 8 hits, 3 errors committed by the Phils tonight, and 8 men left on base. For the Seawolves, 4 runs on 6 hits, an error, and 7 men left on base. Travis Kuhn gets the win. He's won 5 games now for the Phils in their 18 wins on the season. So Travis Kuhn has almost 33% of the Phils wins on the year. He's got 5 and 5-1, and Richard Gouache takes the loss. He is 0-1. Time of the game, 2 hours and 34 minutes, played in front of 7,021. Some hardy ones who have raided through the raindrops for the fireworks, enjoying the show here at FirstEnergy Stadium. So tomorrow night's game, it'll be a matchup of right-hander Gene Cabrera going for the Reading Fightin' Phils, and left-hander Carlos Pena will get the start for the Seawolves. 6:45 is our time tomorrow night here at FirstEnergy Stadium. Tomorrow night is a Mega Blast fireworks, the largest fireworks show in stadium history, and that'll be following tomorrow night's game here at the ballpark. And, of course, the series finale is on Sunday at 5:15. And, again, it's a salute to hometown heroes. Nick Singleton, the former Governor Mifflin standout, and now the All-American at Penn State, will be here. There'll be a bobblehead for kids given away of Nick Singleton, and also a photo session as well with Nick Singleton here at the ballpark. 5:15 is first pitch for this series finale on Sunday. That is going to do it for our broadcast of a wildly entertaining baseball game. Thanks to Al Padrique, the manager, for the second half of the interview with the skipper tonight in our pregame show with Jake Starr, as this one comes to an end. Again, 2 hours and 34 minutes played in front of 7,021. And the Phils take the W. And now with the loss, Erie drops to 32-16. And with the win, the Reading Fightin' Phils improve to 18-29. And again, even this series now at 2 wins apiece. That will do it for our broadcast tonight here at FirstEnergy Stadium. For my broadcast partner, Jake Starr, my name is Bob McCool. Thanks for listening to our White Star Travel postgame show, and for our entire broadcast, as always, on our flagship 830WEU.com. You can listen and hear all of Reading Fightin' Phil's home games on 830WEU.com. Thanks for listening to tonight's ball game. Hope you'll do it again tomorrow night. Back with the pregame show tomorrow night at 6:30. First pitch is at 6:45. But as always, better yet, we'd love to see you here at the ballpark. Have a great night, everyone. Thanks for listening. Fightin' Phils win it in the bottom of the ninth with a walk-off 5-4 W.